Oh, it's over
Well,
already?
guys, what do you know?
Huh?
What?
It's finger pistols.
What do I know?
Did
Another
nobody else watch this fucking movie? Was I the only
another
one who watched
Oh!
great
Eraserhead?
intro.
Hold on. What do you know?
Yeah.
Okay, I see
Another
that. The
super
best
great
character in the
Alright.
movie.
Yeah.
planned out intro. That one landed
Okay.
great.
I'm sorry. I
But-
guess I thought you guys would notice
No.
one of the like 5 lines in this movie.
Yeah. The only lines that I caught were, did you have sexual intercourse with my daughter? And that's the only one that stuck out.
That's the only one that piqued my interest.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is There Will Be Duds. I am your co-host, TJ, aka J-Spot, Jack Cheese. And with me, as always,
Hi, I'm Nick, aka Dr. Funk on Twitch.
As always, I'm Travis, aka the Super General.
I'm Moose, as sometimes, always Tommy. Nailed it.
As always, as sometimes as maybe like this stream sometimes here. I'm Deegs, and as always, I'm confused as shit, especially right now after this movie.
I went to make the
and-
Facebook post, and I wrote twitch.tv/there will be suds, which made me think that we should do a hot tub stream. We'll do an episode in a hot tub.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
There will be suds.
And just
Um,
The
have,
greatest
my
typo
God.
I've.
I'm gonna vote against that
beautiful.
because one time we watched a movie. It was
Oh, yeah.
Avengers Trinity War in a hot tub. It was one of the top 10 worst experiences of my life because it was just so
Well, was that
fucking
the-
miserable.
That could have been the movie, though.
What? No, it was. It was 2 hours.
Oh,
We
okay.
sat in there.
It wasn't-
Also, I'm
so
pretty
if you
sure
watch
that
a
hot
good
tub
movie
was.
in a hot tub, it'd be okay.
I'm pretty sure the hot tub was so shitty. We were just slowly getting like small electrocutions every like 10 minutes. Like
Wait,
there's
wait,
just
wait,
some
wait.
type of faulty wiring in that.
Oh,
Hot tub.
shit.
Cooking alive in that
Well-
fucking thing.
Yeah.
We'll have to have Tommy he'll have to get like a little kiddie pool, sit in his apartment, and then we can like set like a laptop on the edge of on the lip of the
Everything
hot tub.
just precociously, you know.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, for
we also
one,
precariously.
I think that Moose.
I'm kicking Moose off.
I
the
have more
podcast.
faith in Moose, and I think that he can get access to a hot tub. He doesn't need a kiddie pool.
No, yeah.
Wizard.
Just go to one of the fancy apartment complexes across from campus, one of those high
Yeah.
rises.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just walk in and act like you belong there.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make
Good in
it,
the hot
baby.
tub.
And we all watched a movie this week, but we also watched other stuff, other movies. Nick, you said you can start us off. You said you wanted to bring something up.
Oh, yeah. I guess real briefly, inspired by your shirt, we watched the X-Files movie, which you can call it a movie, but really it's like 2 episodes in the format of a movie. It is the film that came out between seasons 5 and 6. We finished season 5, which I guess spoiler alert for a show from 1992. The X-Files Mulder's office gets burned, and the X-Files have been officially closed by the FBI. And then
Oh
the
my
movie takes
God.
place after Mulder and Scully have been reassigned to like just doing normal FBI shit. So like surveilling, domestic terrorists or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, the movie was pretty good. It had Terry O'Quinn from Lost fame
that's
in
right.
it. Yeah, I felt like it was a really good small screen to big screen, if you will. My question is, and maybe you can answer this, TJ,
Mm-hmm.
do you have to watch the movie before season 6? Like, does season 6 just start out with like, well, if you didn't watch the movie, like, too bad?
No,
'cause-
I don't think so. No, from memory, I don't think so. I don't think they did it that way. It's
Okay.
kind of like have you watched Cowboy Bebop at all?
Little bits and pieces.
Because that has a movie.
Okay.
That comes like it's like 2/3 of the way through the show is where it takes place.
Okay.
But it came out after the. It's a little different because it came out after the TV show was over.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of like, I would kind of lump it like that, where it's like, you know, there might be some little things, or like it might kind of like enhance the stuff that follows after in a way, but like you could just never see the movie and you're not gonna like.
There's
miss out on
there's
any
nothing like
crucial-
integral to
Pokemon
like.
movies.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I guess Pokemon movies, kind of. Yeah, kind of.
That's true.
I
I'd
like
say
Pokemon movies.
to a lesser extent with the Pokemon. Well, maybe that's just because it's a kid show and it's kind of not as like, and it's also like been running for almost 30
Careful what you
years,
fucking
so-
say about the Pokemon movies. Okay.
Yeah,
Hey.
for real.
I
I'm
probably
not-
cried as a child in the original Pokemon movie.
I've cried as an adult to the original Pokemon movie.
I'm not saying I like the, I mean, the ones I mainly remember are like the first three, but I like the Pokemon movies, but I just
Yeah.
don't think they're as like, I definitely don't think you need to watch those to watch the TV show.
Right.
But like,
right.
if you're a fan of the show, yeah, watch the movies. But we're talking about like,
Especially
is it
the one
important
with-
to getting the show. No,
with Articuno and Zapdos.
that's number 2. Yeah, that one's
And
cool as
Moltres.
hell.
I've
Yeah.
only
the second
only
one.
seen the first
The
Yeah,
one.
second one, no, the second one is about Mewtwo because they did a pun on the like 2, Pokemon 2, Mewtwo returns
What do
or
you
whatever.
think? What do you think the first movie is?
That's that's also about Mewtwo. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna Google it.
You're
Pokemon
wrong, my
movies.
friend. Because the one with the legendary birds is Pokemon 2000 because it's number 2 and it's 2000.
Okay.
The one with the
Shit, you're
birds.
right.
That's
I-
also
There's a
yeah.
and there's Lugia in it,
It was the new
Yeah.
millennium, so
and Slowking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Slowking and like talks to him and stuff. and-
Fuck
yeah, they have Lugia, but I don't think they have Ho-Oh, which is a bummer because I always liked Ho-Oh more than Lugia. Anyways,
Ho-Oh
Anyways,
is in the first
X-Files.
episode of
That's
the
true.
of the anime.
which is really
Allegedly.
yeah. No,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Allegedly.
he totally
Yeah.
is. It once
Is
like
it? I don't know if it's canon though. That it's like that definitely was a Ho-Oh.
well, then they
You know?
based the entire character design of Ho-Oh sans color, I guess. after
Oh, you're
that
talking about like the
random
golden bird in like the first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
golden and like shiny in that, but
Yeah.
it's Ho-Oh. It looks
Kick
exactly
fucking
like Ho-Oh.
ass. It's There Will Be Duds.
Hey,
gotta be
there's a
Ho-Oh.
new follow. Thank you. Human car crash. I know who that is.
Oh, I like that.
But yeah,
X-Files.
yeah, I don't know. It's a good movie. Is very entertaining. I'm excited / curious to see when the show takes its downturn that I've heard that it does. Because I know at one point in time, like I think David Duchovny like either quit the show or something happened. But there's like a season where it's like Scully and then Daggett, I think his name is, but it's just like
Daggett, yeah. Who
It's
I
just-
like. It's
Yeah.
Robert
Downey Senior.
no, it's the T2000, not the T2000, the T or is it T2000?
Robert Downey Sr.
It's
Yeah,
the
it's
bad guy
T1000
from Terminator
Senior.
2.
Yeah, that's
old as shit.
But I can't think of
Right.
his name. I should know his name. But I like him, but yeah, it's
Robert
like it's one of
Redford.
those things where it's kind of like it's not the same, you know. Like even
Yeah.
though I like the actor, it's like yeah, but it's not David Duchovny, and it's
Right.
it's one of those. Yeah,
Robert Patrick, by the way.
Robert Patrick. That's right.
The only other thing I had was I started
Oh no, it is T1000. Sorry, go ahead.
watching The Boys, or at least I watched the first episode, and yeah, it's
Oh,
great. It's
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it's very. I was shocked in a lot of
Just the
different
first
ways.
episode so far.
800.
Just I've only seen the first episode.
Okay, cool. I'm curious to see, like, as it gets more into like not just silly stuff, more into like the heavy, like themes and stuff.
Yeah, well, I
that-
mean, it's already
really like
basically introducing a lot of those, like,
Yeah.
and I I
Yeah.
like the framing device of like kind of showing from the outside and the inside, like,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
Yeah.
Also, I had to do a double take because I was not sure that was Simon Pegg who was his dad, because
yeah.
his American accent, I was like, it felt like, you know, I was like watching something but then processing something else with my ears, because hearing Simon Pegg with an American accent is like bizarre.
Yeah, that's kind of like a little an Easter egg for like the comic, because the character of Huey, which is like, he's kind of like the main, he's
Yeah.
like, well, he's like the focal point, at least.
Is he
of
Dennis
the
Quaid's
show.
son? He's a Quaid, I know
Yeah,
that.
he is. He's Dennis
Yeah,
Quaid's son.
Jack
Yep.
Quaid.
Is he really?
Jack Quaid.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
He's Quaid, you idiot.
Now that you look at him though, you
That's-
see it, don't you?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
He's a handsome motherfucker.
But anyways, his character in the comic they based his character design off of Simon Pegg. So
Oh,
plays his dad in
that's
the show.
funny.
There's like a little reference to
Yeah,
that.
in the graphic novel or the comic, yeah, he looks very much like Simon Pegg. Like
At the
Yeah.
time, like
At the
really,
time.
he's like short hair and like goatee and like kind of like
yeah,
Shaun of the Dead
Shaun of the Dead
era.
era. Yeah.
Speaking of like hearing somebody do an English accent or an American accent, that's weird. I've been watching Startup. It's like it's a.
Ooh,
Go ahead. Sorry.
wait,
Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
What?
No,
I just thought you were going. Speaking of somebody doing an English accent, good day, mate. I thought you were just gonna go into an English
I
accent.
feel like it's super cringe.
Yeah.
No, Startup. I guess it's like a super high rated show because it's it has like some stupid streaming numbers where it's one of the most high rated, most watched shows on Netflix. But I've never heard about it. I was just like digging through stuff to watch, and I found that.
Is it
But,
based on the podcast Startup?
I doubt
From,
it.
like Gimlet
There's
Media?
Is this a Korean show?
No, it's like it's about a they're trying to start like a cryptocurrency, like e-currency.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So it's just like a startup company for e-currency. It's like the coder who's this, female from, a poorer family, but she has really good coding skills, and she's sort of like a outcast rebel type person. And then there's this one of the characters is from, where does it take place? In Miami. So he's from like the Haitian slums in Miami. But he's a really good like salesman or businessman. And then there's but like when it comes to dealing drugs. And then there's like the white dude who's just like,
When it comes to dealing drugs,
yeah, who's just like the straightforward,
selling cars, that's nothing. Like it's
yeah.
he can't do it. But
So it's just
but
like
crack cocaine, he's your man.
He's got it. Yeah. It's like the three of them just kind of like somehow team up and are the three main people in the startup company for something that's in that world doing better than Bitcoin. And it's weird because it's when you start watching it, you're like, oh, I'm going to be able to predict this show. It's going to be super easy to predict. It's one of those typical, going to grab you, pull you in for a stupid reason and flip it on you type thing. But this show is actually like everything that you wanted to happen, it would happen. So like if there was something that was, oh man, that was really good, something is going to negate that and take me the whole other way. But then it just kept like a character that you were like, you know what? He should totally kill that dude, but for the show, he's not going to. But then in the show, they would prove you wrong and they would kill off a character. So it's pretty interesting. But there are a bunch of cliche, just like eye-rolling scenes in there. Anyways, I brought this up because Martin Freeman is in it. And he plays like a FBI agent. But hearing him talk like that is super, super weird because he does like an American accent. And I'm not used to seeing him with that.
You should watch Fargo, because he does the Fargo accent
that's
in that
right.
show. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
I've
seen the first
show?
episode of Fargo
Yeah.
with him, and yeah, I forgot he was even in that because he
Yeah.
does an American
He's like-
accent.
He's
Does he
like
do like a-
William H. Macy-esque character.
Does he do like a Minnesota accent?
Oh,
Yeah, he does
Fargo?
like he
Oh,
does the
fuck.
Fargo accent. Yeah. And then another one who Kalia always like makes fun of Ewan McGregor whenever he does an American accent because she thinks he's terrible at it. He's in the third
Oh.
season, so he also does that
Oh,
Fargo
shit.
accent too.
Fucking way.
Yeah.
I need
Uh,
that in my life.
I
you
watched
should,
Birds of
because
Prey.
that show is amazing. I'm not even a huge fan of the movie Fargo, but I fucking love seasons 1 through 3 of Fargo. Season 4 was all right, but highly recommend that show.
Something happened on Twitch. I don't know what, but I got one of those.
I
Like an-
hosted.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Sorry, because like I don't have all of like the alerts set up, so I'm like looking around like what happened. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I watched Birds of Prey. If we're talking about Ewan McGregor doing an English or American accent,
Yeah. What did you
like,
think?
fucking awful. Holy shit!
It was so bad.
There's scenes in there that are like worse than like Fast and Furious level action, where it's just like
Yeah.
that's stupid. That's so
It
like the final
Ooh.
scene when she's trying to rescue that girl out of the car.
Uh-huh.
Holy shit, dude, that was so
Yeah.
bad. And then, yeah, the acting in that is just awful. It was so bad.
I'm sorry,
The
but
one
Fast and the Furious. Are you talking shit about Fast and the Furious?
No, you just don't ever pay attention to the show when you're not talking, so you miss what he
Yeah.
was saying.
Yeah, that's it. No. He said Fast and the Furious level action.
No, he
He
said
said the
worse.
acting was as
man.
bad as the Fast and Furious level action.
Oh, acting. I thought okay.
Action or
okay.
acting?
The how ridiculous the action is, like how
He
it's
said it
they
was
make it
worse.
seem
He said it was
it
worse.
was worse.
Oh,
Man.
okay.
I'm just saying, you know how they do some ridiculous shit in Fast and Furious.
I'm with
Yeah,
you,
it
Travis.
was-
It sound
no.
the way that you said it in my brain processed it as a diss. Even though that's
to the Fast and
Uh,
the Furious movies.
yeah.
So are you defending them, Travis? You're saying they're like solid
I'm
acting,
saying-
100%. Would never talk bad about it.
Wait,
now you're saying acting.
See,
Okay, we're
Yeah.
now
Well,
you
that's
are
what
listening.
that's what he heard. So that's what he was going to defend was the acting.
Oh,
no, I was defending the action.
Oh, I thought you said.
You heard
I thought you
acting.
said acting.
we're gonna have to
Where
play
did
that
acting come
tape.
from?
We're gonna, Jamie, can
Because
you
then he
replay that?
started saying, I think because then he said he thought I was saying acting, so he said acting, and then we were talking about yeah. Great
Yeah,
conversation,
so-
guys.
This is
Anyways,
He did
Quality
mention the
podcast
acting,
material.
and then he compared it to the Fast and Furious action, saying it was bad. It was worse. He did mention the acting previous.
Wait, the acting.
Okay.
J-
'cause
as
I
a
think-
separate thing. Didn't
I
relate
think-
it to Fast and Furious. Let's get past
I
it.
think the action in Fast and the Furious is like that's what I was trying to defend. I think it's like old school, like cheesy, ridiculous action.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
just fun.
yeah.
So if you're comparing it to that, then it's kind of a selling point for me. I think
It's not as good as
Then
the
it's- and it's
acting
worse
in
than-
the Pokemon movies.
There you go. I just found out, incidentally, how many Pokemon movies there are.
Gotta be like
oh, there's a
I
shitload.
guess it's Price is Right
27.
rules. Price is Right
27.
rules closest without going over.
I have
27.
at least 6.
27.
Like
Okay.
I own 6, so
nobody
Travis
do the
says 6.
nobody
I'm gonna
prices
say-
right.
I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna say 25.
25. TJ said 27. Nick,
20.
Deegan. How many
What?
Pokemon movies are there? How many Pokemon movies do you think there are? What is the action of the acting, and how many Pokemon movies do you think there are?
Alex, could I get 37 for 200, please?
That's
Okay, so he
not
guesses
how
200.
Price is Right works.
he's guessing
Um,
37.
I think
So,
you combined like two
actually-
different game shows there.
I would like to buy a consonant, please. It's 23, so Nick wins. You all went over.
Damn.
Damn, I
Oh,
was
man.
gonna say 21 too, but I wanted to
I
get
was
Price is
thinking
Right
20 at first, but then I was like, no, he seems like really surprised. So I was like,
I
thinking
was
30.
surprised.
Damn.
I don't know,
Yeah, I was
because
thinking
in
like
my brain there's only ever been like 4.
See, you
I
gotta
think it's been pretty
go.
much like a movie a year ever since they started them.
You gotta
Holy
go
shit.
with. You gotta go with the Joe Biden strat when they ask him how many genders there are. At least 3.
Was that what he said?
That's what he said it at a
Well,
town hall or something.
He wouldn't do very well in the
He's
Price is Right.
3.
with that
That's like,
answer.
you know what? That's closer than I thought he was
At
gonna
least
go.
Oh man. Jeez Louise. There it is. We've
Yeah, that-
we've solved it.
before or I actually did want to get back into, since we you talked about Birds of Prey for like a sentence. I might have mentioned this to you guys before. Like, I thought that Ewan McGregor and Chris Messina, who played Zaz, like, I liked them. I really wish they were in like a different, more fun movie. I liked their characters, but everything else, like, it's one of those things where like it's still miles better than the original Suicide Squad, but it's still complete garbage. Like,
I would rather watch
bad.
Suicide Squad than that.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
See, I feel like when Birds of Prey came out, there was almost like an online campaign where people just like they posted through the bad reviews and tried to convince themselves and everyone that it was like this amazing like feminist movie with like a female lead. So they were just like, no, actually it's actually I think it's good, but they're like, because they were trying to make it more than what it was by being
maybe.
like, because it's Harley Quinn and it's female. You only like Joker because he's a man. Like that.
It's
kind of
boring. It's so boring. They don't like. There's nothing going on. It's just it's boring. That's all it is. I would much rather watch Suicide Squad because I could at least laugh at it and like cringe at it. But this was just so fucking boring that it's like, I'm just wasting time.
I was thinking of giving that to you, but then I thought of like the Jared Leto Joker and then contrast that with Ewan McGregor and Chris Messina, where like there's actually an element, be however small it is, because they aren't in it that much for being like the main bad guys. But there is that small element of Birds of Prey that I do like, even if it's just the bad guys, and it's because I like those actors mostly. There's nothing in Suicide Squad. It's not even like an enjoyable bad watch. It's just it's a fucking slog to get through. So
Yeah,
I would give the edge to Birds of Prey, but I would also say never watch that movie.
It was
keep thinking that you're saying Christmas Cena.
like
Because I didn't know that guy's
Cena?
I didn't know that guy's name.
Oh,
So you you were saying Chris Messina, and I was like, Christmas Cena.
yeah.
Huh?
Okay.
That's a good point because like but the story still isn't shit. It's like their dynamic as the two villains. It's fun to watch them together,
Mhm.
but if you can take that out of context and still enjoy it just as much. It's there's nothing to it. There's no meat and potatoes to it.
I honestly like it'd be a lot cooler if they were just in the new Suicide Squad instead or something.
Be a lot
Like,
cooler
I
if they
feel like
just
they would-
did a whole different movie together.
Well, I
yeah,
think
or that.
Not even the DC movie, just a different movie. Because I
Well, I
like
think-
that the Chris Messina, he's fucking he was in the Sinner, that Netflix show. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen that.
Mm-mm.
He played a really like psychotic guy. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm not even gonna try to explain it. But I really liked him. He's a really good actor in that.
Yeah.
He plays pretty much the same character, just a little less quirky than what he played in Suicide Squad.
I think that's the problem. I guess I don't know. Not necessarily that I have with them, but I feel like it's a problem that plagues a lot of, and I think Marvel does it a little bit better than DC. But like you said, it was boring, and I think that's the real problem. Is like they go through all of these elaborate like choreographed action sequences, but it's just like it's so goddamn boring. Like the Suicide Squad where they're just like mowing down the faceless alien guys. It's just like there were like three different set pieces, and it's just like I don't give a shit about any of this. Like I'm just like my eyes are glazing over. At least like with the Suicide Squad, like
There's like competent action.
well, it's like ultra violence. It's like realistic violence. Like it feels almost like it has like stakes. Like those are like real people that he like shot a toaster into the bathtub, or like
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess with the few Marvel movies that I've seen, I feel like the action sequences are always like
Was it Justice League? Was that the episode where I fell asleep 10 minutes into the movie?
Oh man.
Which nobody blamed you because it was 4 hours long.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was
the
a
one
solid
episode
nap.
I didn't do was Justice
Solid
League.
nap.
Yeah, because you had
Sounds like I
Justice
really
League
missed
in
out.
the background to like lull you. It was like a lullabye the whole time.
Yeah.
It's my
Especially
white
when
noise
those, like,
machine.
Especially when all those like Icelandic girls are like singing that creepy song to Aquaman.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
when I
my
fell asleep.
God.
That was
Oh
the
my
that is when
moment.
he fell asleep. I remember that.
That was
from
the
episode.
moment. Yeah. I was like,
That's
what the
perfect, yeah.
flying fuck is going on right now? And then, you know, a little pixie picked me up and carried me away into my dreams.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just
Yeah.
Aquaman because I fell asleep seeing the Aquaman movie in theaters.
Oh, maybe.
I fell asleep while
I mean,
that.
that's
So maybe it's,
I mean,
You
those
Again,
chairs are really
Jason Momoa's-
comfortable now.
yeah.
I was
The
gonna say-
technology has increased very well.
Jason Momoa's dreamy eyes. They lull you right to sleep.
It's just DC though. DC, like Nick was saying, it's DC just is boring. I've always just thought they're
Yeah.
like, they just like almost like try too hard. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It seems like
try
they
to
have an
be, like,
issue with
a little
tone,
bit better than Marvel. Yeah.
Oh,
that-
definitely. Issue. Yeah.
but it's just
They're
like
trying to be everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like it's like Suicide Squad is like a grayscale movie with like the occasional burst of like neon, but like neither of them are effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
We can make
Harley
better movies than them.
Harley Quinn or Birds of Prey, blah 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 blah. Harley Quinn, because that's a really long title. It definitely It definitely feels like it doesn't have that issue as much, especially as the Suicide Squad. Like it feels like it does have like a tone that it was going for, that it achieved, but it's just characters that you don't give a fuck about and that are just like so grating. Like I even said in like the new Suicide Squad, which I really enjoyed, like Harley Quinn's like not a very great character. Like she's like the low point of the new Suicide Squad for me. It's like she's just like not a great leading character. And then like there's like this little girl who she's kind of like, she's the MacGuffin. She's the one who she's got to like save and like carry through to the end or whatever. And it's like, she sucks. That character sucks. It's like, why? I don't care that she like wants to save her or whatever.
You know what else sucks? And mainly for me, but I'm starting to harbor some resentment for Daegan because he brought us the Discovery, and now he brought the Suicide Squad back up. So now we're like relitigating this, and like we're talking about Suicide Squad too much for how shitty they were.
I didn't bring it up.
Pirates of the Caribbean again.
You didn't bring it up? You
Yeah,
brought up
no.
Birds of Prey or whatever.
No, I didn't even. I brought up Ewan McGregor. I just said I saw Ewan McGregor in Birds of Prey.
Yeah, you brought up Birds of Prey.
And then
that's
that's
what
all I
you went
said.
back into
That's all I
Birds of
said.
Prey.
That's
You
all I
went back
said.
into Birds of Prey.
My hands are tied.
I don't like
My hands are tied. I'm out to lunch.
What-
My hands are tied.
Okay.
You're insidious. That's what you are. You just
Yeah.
have this little.
I just come
You know
here to
how-
torture
that-
you guys.
Oh,
he's
that reminds
leading
me
the horse
that-
to water, but we're just drinking.
Yeah,
it.
we're
You guys
drinking it
are
up.
slurping that up, dude. I needed to say 2 words, and you guys went fucking off the wall. He's great.
He's Fox News, and we're everybody over 48.
Yeah, this reminds me. Fuck. What? Yeah, Ewan McGregor. He's in Birds of Prey.
Uh-huh.
I think. Yeah. How about that movie, huh?
Fuck yeah,
Yeah,
dude. That's what I'm
great
talking
research.
about.
I wish I
Speaking
could.
of
putting up the research machine to find that out for us.
Birds of Prey, have you guys seen?
The Suicide Squad?
Oh, I think it cut out.
Fast
Oh
and Furious?
no. Oh, he did a
I'm
meme.
playing. I got you guys. I
Oh,
got you guys.
that was.
Oh, nice.
You did,
Yeah.
did you
Very
did that
The
earlier
only
too,
way
didn't
I
you?
could tell that you didn't freeze was like I could see your lights transitioning just a little
Oh
bit.
shit!
That's
Yeah, okay.
That was
crazy.
good,
I
though.
forgot about that.
You
That
got
was
me.
pretty good, yeah.
I
You fucking
that
got
wasn't
me.
that was an honest brain freeze. I didn't know what I was gonna follow that up with, so I just stopped.
Well,
Birds.
all this talk of Birds of
hand
Prey
clap.
really makes me
Like
wish
Bird
the
that
law.
I
Have you
could,
guys heard of bird law before?
Makes me wish I could erase that entire conversation from my memory. Speaking of, erasers.
Speaking of, we have an ad break first.
yes. So all right,
Um,
what are we screening? What should I pull up?
It's
I haven't-
up to you guys.
I
You
have
could
not
do-
seen Woom, so I wouldn't mind watching Woom.
Could do that.
Is that
Yeah.
someone posted that in the Discord, right?
It's a little shorter too.
I'm
so-
not
I
not sure if
think
they
I
did, but I'm going to share the link right now.
Okay, yeah, just do that.
I found it.
Is that a Lynchy? Is that a
I mean, it's not a one that we put Lynch in the title, but it's
not by name, but it is.
yeah.
By spirit. Okay.
And I
Yeah,
think
in
it's
spirit.
Aren't
the-
we all by spirit a little lynchy?
in the grand scheme of things, I think this
Definitely.
is the closest one to Eraserhead. Like, it has similar themes, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Yeah, we
Yeah.
should. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Eraserhead
but
had
yeah.
themes.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we get that.
Oh, you'll see.
Tommy, have you seen any are you aware of
I have
our
Lynch, but I
You
haven't
fucking
seen
have Lynch.
Woom.
Okay. Yeah, Woom was one that we couldn't. We had to ask Andy to he had it
Yeah.
hidden or something like that.
It was.
So
I
I
don't
haven't
think
seen
any
this
of
one
you
in-
have seen it.
I haven't seen
I
it.
don't think so.
I saw it a few times, I think.
All right.
but-
Okay.
I haven't seen it in a while. I know.
All right.
Yeah,
so I'm
it's
about
been
to
like
pull it up.
I'm the biggest fan here, honestly.
So let's highlight this one.
All right.
Let's do
I'm
that.
ready.
We'll
I'm
full
excited
screen.
because
I can't see the
Because-
stream.
I haven't
On
started
Discord?
playing it.
Wait, hang on.
You have to go to his name to the side.
Nope. I think what happened is I tried to get rid of Craig. Oh, there we go. Shown on video participants. Apparently, the stream is a non-video participant.
oh,
Oh, I mean,
That is weird.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. I need to go on OBS and take the tags off. Hold
Wait,
on.
what's
No, leave him. It's the
tags?
most.
Oh,
It's the
shit.
most Lynch thing you could do.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So this is Woom, which is a precursor to our discussion of Eraserhead. And I'm
Yes, it's
sure
a prequel.
A prequel, yes.
No.
All right, here we go. Can you guys hear that okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good to
Taco
I
Bell.
don't have to hear it. I lived it.
me. Yeah.
Sorry, I can't take Isaiah seriously as like an adult at all. Especially 2017 era Isaiah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that's very Eraserhead.
This is your mother. If you have a chance, give me a call. You gotta change your answering machine message. Bye.
Is that Isaiah? Who was that?
In the mirror, that was me.
No, who
Or-
did
oh,
the voice?
I actually don't know. That might have just been something that Andy found.
Oh, okay.
The snow
I
is
don't actually know.
soft, light, cold. But to me, it's coarse, pervasive. My time has come.
You Dougie Jones.
Yeah, that's.
My time has gone.
I live for freedom. You gave me that freedom. Now I see the true light in things. I am not me without you. My mind wanders. Yours follows a straight path.
Is that your purple corgi shirt?
No.
Ooh, that was a meaty punch. Nice.
This decision is not yours. This is always your way. And this is mine.
Oh.
Oh, it's okay. It's alright. Come here. Come here. Shh. Come on. It's okay. Where's your passive? Let's find your passive. Now it's your turn, Daddy.
Oh, holy shit.
Okay,
That ending
so
part, I actually fell down the stairs.
Oh, that's so
right.
good.
And we had discussions of instead of
Ah.
placing the baby in like I did, I was just gonna chuck the baby.
Throw it in. Yeah.
Oh,
okay, so
man.
what I got from that is the doggy door is a vagina.
Sure.
More.
I mean,
Evan just says, man,
in
what the
create-
hell?
in creating it, I don't. There, of course, like all Lynches that we do, there's no concept really. It's just we film footage and then it gets put together, and that's it.
No.
Okay,
So yeah,
I would.
But yeah.
I
I
would
thought I was a
say.
fucking idiot or something because I did not
no,
understand.
there's
a single
not really
thing.
anything to go, but we do have like kind of a through line, I guess. To
I would.
this one.
I would say mostly with that one and Camp Lynch, we have an idea.
There's,
I know for sure with Camp Lynch, we were like, okay, we want to end it with the phone call,
yeah.
and like because that means this. So like
Mhm.
we kind of have that, but then like the in between stuff, like there's I can't explain everything to it, but I could give you a general explanation. But I can't explain why one person does a specific thing in a scene.
I was gonna say, and I was thinking about this as I was watching Eraserhead today, but it is kind of like astounding to me how close I feel like we got to the tone of Lynch movies when we first started doing not Camp Lynch, but like Lynch Park and like all those other ones. I was like, because like I hadn't seen anything of his. I knew of him and I knew he made you know this like avant-garde weird style stuff. But like looking at those early Lynch movies, and I don't mean it as like a diss on David Lynch that like any four assholes with a camera could like ape his style, but I'm astounded at how close I feel like personally we got with like the tone and style of some of his stuff.
Yeah,
without
I
having
mean,
seen really any of it.
I think how it started was we were just so sick of like the film school
it was like
idea, and that's where and then I think like we were like, oh, like the film school douchebag,
like making pretentious art house
stuff that doesn't make sense, but it's art because it doesn't make sense or some kind of bullshit like that. It's got some deeper meaning because like you've filmed like whatever.
It's a very our Lynch.
So this
all
is a
of
parody of that.
Yes,
in a
sort
way,
of parody / homage.
Yeah. It's
kind of like mockery, of
like
a certain type of people, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely like making that with a sarcastic tone,
but it's not making fun of like Lynch himself.
No,
it's making fun of like the type.
He just came up in the conversation because we were like, oh yeah,
it's so
Lynchian,
dude. It's so Lynchian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because like the first one we do is like we're like all the dialogue is like we're talking about art school, like I read Bukowski.
Yeah.
Oh, I watch Fight Club every day, like stupid shit like that.
Yeah,
like all the dialogue is like non sequiturs.
Also, like we make fun of that, but also like it doesn't mean that I don't think that Fight Club is a really good movie and that David Lynch is like, or David Fincher, sorry, is a really good director. But it's like it
attracts
like
a certain type of you know. We're making fun of the type of people that it attracts, I guess.
The identity that is formed around like liking Fight Club and Bukowski.
Well, I am honored to not be the kind of person who you all are making fun of right now. Otherwise, this would be really awkward.
Yeah, actually, we only showed that as a warning. So just everybody out there, you see what we're capable of.
Yeah.
So, like, do you know people who like went to film school and came out as douchebags, or is this just like something
not really.
like an impression you got like on the internet?
Not particularly.
I mean, like if. Yeah,
so you're making fun of this idea of people who may or may not exist because you've never interacted.
Oh,
with them.
2010. It was 2000.
Don't act like it's like purely. Yeah, right. I was in high school. We were all in high school.
I knew a couple people that were like annoying, like the greatest. You know.
I think
that was right after Andy got out of film school and had kind of fraternized with some of those people, and like we were doing film festivals and we had seen those kind of people.
And I will say that like the reason we've made, if you count Camp Lynch, if you count Woom, we've made like 6 of those now. It's not because we thought the joke or like the making fun of people was so funny that we had to do it 6 times. We do them now because like they're really fun to do, and we think that they're really fun to watch.
Especially in front of.
It's not like a series purely born out of spite. Like it is done out of love too.
I would say it was born out of spite, but maybe then it was raised in love. And,
yeah.
Like
much like the baby in Eraserhead, we did the best that we could.
Yeah. The best screening of one of our shorts was Camp Lynch. For me, I was just dying laughing.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like this inside joke where I was like, are they gonna get it that we're like not being serious, that we're not like trying to be like film school kids, like we're kind of parodying that. Like I didn't know, so it kind of seemed like this sneaky thing where everybody was gonna be like, what the hell is that? And then we're just like laughing in the background, like, gotcha. Like a prank almost.
Yeah, I was going to use that as an example too, because that festival that we made Camp Lynch for, like, you know, we did it totally tongue in cheek, like sarcastic, you know, with that, like, we think it's hilarious. I think Camp Lynch is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But day one of that festival, one of the, like, I don't think she was a judge. I think she was one of the people who, like, worked on the festival. She, like, came right up to me and she was like, "Oh my God, I loved Camp Lynch. You guys captured, like, David Lynch's style so well. I thought it was so beautiful." Like, she's like, "You got, like," she, like, references, like, you know, she's like, "You show, like, the decay, like the shot of the like decaying, like, deer carcass is, like, so, like," she was just, like, pulling references to, like, David Lynch stuff. And I was like, even though you know, again, tongue in cheek, her saying that to me is, like, one of the coolest, like, experience, reaction experiences
Yeah.
I've had. Like, I was like, that's so cool. I was like, that's so awesome that like somebody got something out of it. Like, that was so cool to me.
I think our stuff is also Lynchian in the sense that you can extrapolate from it whatever you want, really. But sometimes the real answer is we thought it was funny. Or we thought it was cool. Because that is another thing that I've learned with, like, David Lynch, is that, like, you kind of watch I guess, are we just transitioning? Let's just transition into Eraserhead at this point. Unless you want to talk about Woom some more. But just to finish that thought, I think a lot of the times, like, you watch David Lynch's stuff and you sort of form this picture in your mind of this enigmatic, like, weird, like, quiet guy who's like, man, if you make this kind of stuff, you must be messed up. And then you watched interviews with David Lynch and he's just, like, quirky and funny and, like, weird, but not in that, like, pretentious, like, yeah, so what this actually, if you ask him what his movies mean, he'll tell you no.
Yeah.
Like, he, like, I'm sure one of you guys was going to mention it, but there's, like, a great interview with him where someone was like, you've been quoted as saying that Eraserhead is your most spiritual movie. Can you elaborate on that? And he's just like, no.
Yeah.
And, like, that's his answer.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
I was gonna say also, with Woom, like with Camp Lynch, we had a reaction to it where there was, you know, we were in a theater and it's kind of, like, quiet and we're, like, laughing to ourselves, and then the baby part happens and everybody just, like, fucking dies. Like, it was, like, crazy. And then, like, I think we were the last one to be shown.
Oh, perfect.
Or one of the last ones. And like right after they did the awards and stuff, like, everybody started to, like, disperse and stuff, and the guy who was, like, running it was like, can the people who did Woom, can you guys come down to the front? And we were like, oh fuck, they're gonna, like, ban us from the show forever, like, we're never gonna be able to come back. And then it was just, like, a couple people who were just like, that was fucking awesome, you got blah blah blah. And I was like, you guys got that it was a joke, right? And they were like, yeah, it was brilliant, you know, just kind of the same thing that TJ was saying.
It's such a good, like, spitting the key out and then Isaiah's head in your arms.
TJ.
That got was it TJ? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was me.
Isaiah's at that age.
I won the battle for the
okay.
Boom.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I crawl in my wife's vagina with TJ.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is, like, I don't know exactly. I mean, like, I don't exactly know what that means, like, because everything up into that point follows a pretty solid through line to me. It's like me and Isaiah are essentially, if you want to go in, like, literal terms, we're like the last two sperm fighting for fertilization. That's the gist. So the ending, I don't really know.
Is that you won and
the
then
gist?
Well, actually, because I think at first Isaiah's supposed to be out of the womb, and then he gets sucked back in, and you come out.
That's right. I guess.
And the womb is more, I think, more supposed to be like purgatory.
It's actually a retelling of The Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Because there's a whole thing with, like, the coin flip and stuff. So I think there is some sort of, like, other, like, meaning where it's, like, not literally that, but also kind of like we're two, like two minds, more like it's I don't know if it's like I don't know if we were going for like split personality necessarily, but two forces fighting for dominance is
Yeah.
is the gist of it. And there's
Well,
something,
yeah.
like the coin flip is like I like tricked him or something like that. Like we had a deal earlier on, and then there's like the coin flip, and then we kind of like switch positions in the mirror.
It kind of makes sense because at the beginning, the bag that Isaiah finds, it's full of money, so that's
Mhm.
supposed to symbolize the money shot. So that's him
Oh,
coming.
sure.
God damn it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the one thing, just because I mean, I'm sure we'll probably maybe dip back into referencing our stuff, maybe because we can't help sucking our own dicks. But before we come back from the break, I did want to say too that like, kind of going off of like what Nick said too, that like I think a reason that like we like you guys were saying like, oh, I'm surprised how well we were able to like capture his essence. It is because like Nick was saying that he's like a quirky guy, but like even watching him like in like behind the scenes stuff, like shooting his stuff, you see him like recording or like shooting stuff that's like his really weird, Lynchy stuff. Really like take a scene from Eraserhead for example. I think this was like maybe doing Twin Peaks or something, and like he's laughing, like he's sitting behind the camera like laughing. So I think that like he has, or like kind of
So he's just a
coincidentally or, like,
troll.
inadvertently. No, I mean he definitely I'm not saying like his whole career is based off of like making fun of art house people. Like I definitely think he takes himself seriously, but I also think he takes himself a lot less seriously than like somebody who would write a college paper on him.
We were just 3 decades too late, or else we could have been actual David Lynch.
But yeah, I mean, he thinks his stuff is funny, and like I think that's yeah. Okay, let's get into it now because I feel like I am
the kind of the kind of ironic thing is like it's supposed to be a send up of like film school kids and shit, but then like it ends up being like our best looking shit. Like it always
yeah.
Like, I was gonna say like we all had to watch it like pixelated over Discord, but like Woom looks really good. I think
it looks great
really
for me,
good.
but that's because I was the one that was streaming it. It looks gorgeous on my end,
and I can say that without being super self what's the
aggrandizing?
Autofellatio. Autofellatiating.
Jesus Christ.
Because the person who shot it and edited it isn't on this podcast, so I was in it, but that's what I'm just.
Do you think people auto asphyxiate while they auto fellatio? Is that like a thing?
I feel like that'd be hard.
It would be.
It would be hard, but
I mean, but it would also be worth it, probably.
You need so much upper body strength to like be hanging from your neck, but also like move your torso up to your face.
That's gonna be a great like segue back into the episode too.
Yeah,
I need to wash my hands from this image that I've formed in my head.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We are back. Welcome back. Fuck me. I can't really do a speaking of something we talked in the break that people didn't hear, but you know what? Fuck it. Speaking of sucking your own dick. No.
I mean, we do that every episode, so I think it's fine.
We all watched Eraserhead from
Oh my god!
You watched the wrong movie?
They turned his brain into an eraser. Is that where the name of the movie comes from?
Wait. Are you pulling a Daegan right now?
Shit.
Are you pulling a Daegan right now? Because you're definitely pranking me.
Yeah,
No, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I just now got it.
Yeah, no, even like the cover, like
right
the thing
now.
That behind
I don't
that
have
like
the fucking
shot.
cover. I watched it on Amazon.
Well, it's behind Nick right now.
Well, it's a shot from the movie as well.
Yeah, it is a shot from the movie.
Yeah,
it's also on the Twitch page. But
it's like the most iconic shot from the entire movie.
Yeah, that's like the dust from the eraser being like.
Yeah, that's why his haircut is like that too.
Pretty sure.
I mean,
well,
oh my god,
that was just because he came back from a screen test for Kramer and he didn't get the part.
Yeah,
it was like immediately after that he was like, "Oh, I gotta shoot this movie."
Eraserhead.
Which is the movie that we watched from 1977, directed by David Lynch. It tells the story of lovable family man Henry Spencer, or as he's known in the movie, the Mr. Eraserhead, as he wanders
Everyone
through
calls him that.
his industrial hellscape that he lives in and tries to care for his sweet baby boy. But things get a little bit wacky and a little bit kooky as the movie goes on. And I don't know, he has sex with his neighbor, and then he's
yeah,
Tommy,
he's a
you wanted to start
regular.
us off.
I think
I
it's
do.
fair to say he's a regular ladies' man.
Just a
Yeah,
regular
yeah,
working class
The
guy.
baby boy is or the eraser guy?
Eraserhead,
like
Mr.
Tim
Eraserhead.
Meadows,
Henry.
ladies' man.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead, take us away.
take us
So
away.
before we had our discussion in the break about like what the fuck is any of this even, my take on this movie was I don't understand any of it. I don't get it. And then B, like most things that I don't get, I'm assuming it's probably like a metaphor for capitalism or the Holocaust.
Only those two, though.
Yeah, I've found, like through my travels, I've found that if there's some weird ass shit I don't understand, it's probably about capitalism or the Holocaust.
Okay.
Like before the podcast, we were just chit chatting, waiting for Daegan to show up, and I mentioned that this movie reminds me of a lot of the weird ass fucking plays that we did in high school and theater.
Oh yeah.
And like it's like they were all this weird, like non-linear storytelling, and just like really strange everything. No fucking plot or connection whatsoever. But it always had to do with like the plight of the Jews. Like every fucking play we did. My theater director was Jewish, and I don't know where the fuck she got all of these weird ass Jewish plays from, but that's what we did. It was always like some Jewish family, some Jewish dude, and it was weird, and it was probably about the Holocaust, but I don't fucking know.
That reminds me of a movie that I watched. There was this weird shit with the moon where it didn't make sense, like the phases of the moon. And it turns out,
Holy shit.
it turns out that was about Jewish like Holocaust.
Well,
No, that one was capitalism. The moon.
Yeah,
I wanted to just make a it seems like a good like starter to go off of for the conversation, especially considering your questions, concerns, Tommy, that hopefully this eases your mind a little bit, or you'll just think he's even more pretentious. I was watching a video earlier today that said that no one has discerned Lynch's true interpretation of this movie. He has claimed that nobody has ever correctly gotten what he was going for, but he also said that his interpretation is no more or less valuable than anyone else's, because that's just kind of how he does his movies, and I think that's kind of cool of him. I like that. The thing that you should take note of, and like maybe we should have maybe we should have like given you a little
going
bit
into
of
this
a
cold was a fucking trip.
We just hucked you right
weird
into
as
the
fuck.
water.
Yeah, maybe we should
I
have,
was like,
like
there's a weird
guess-
scabby alien dude pulling some lever, and there's sparks going everywhere. Also, everybody in this family is mentally ill. Also, the baby is an alien. Also, everyone's barfing sperm monsters. I was just
I mean, it
Also,
sounds like you got it.
yeah. The thing I was gonna say is like what I would have like precursed it, and like I guess if we end up, because I have nearly all of, if not all of his movies in the cup, I don't think I have all of them. I think there's a couple I left out.
Oh
But,
dear God, please no.
but
I want them all.
not. I know. I
Yeah.
will say not all of his
Gotta get them
movies are
all.
like this. I would say he has 3 other movies that are like this extreme with how weird they are. His other movies are kind of like in between, or not at all.
Oh,
Uh, but the intent that he's going with this one and then his more nonlinear movies is that it's just supposed to kind of be like it's like a dream. That's kind of what it is.
Dreams.
And that's why
Yeah.
he's so loose with like the interpretation is that like, and that's what he said in that statement too, is that his interpretation is no more or less valid than anyone else's because dreams mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
So his movies mean different things to different people. So
Yeah, dreams play a huge role in like a lot of his work, like especially like Twin Peaks. I guess Mulholland Drive to an extent. I've only
Mulholland Drive for sure. The ones I was gonna say are his other heavy dream ones is Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive, and then Inland Empire, and then Twin Peaks. But there's also normal shit in Twin Peaks too.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
That one's more split up, but yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely see the influences from. It's hard to. That's kind of weird to say, but like things that he took from this that are like almost like directly
Episode 8
into
of
like
The
Twin
Return.
Peaks. Yeah, it's like basically right into
Yeah.
Twin Peaks. It's like you can see. It was almost
I
like
was
Twin Peaks
getting-
was like the culmination of
like the
lot
lady in the
of-
radiator. I was thinking of like Audrey Horne, like
Mm.
Audrey's
okay.
dance. Also, the floor of the apartment that he lives in is the same
Yeah.
floor that's in like the red room.
Kalia pointed that out to me. Like
Yeah, and
instantly, she
the
clocked
weird
that.
like the weird dancing stuff.
Now that you mentioned
we
this,
shouldn't reference his other stuff too much since Tommy hasn't seen that.
Yeah, yeah.
so.
Hey, it's like this other
Guys,
thing that you haven't seen.
being just being friends with y'all, I'm used to it. You're just always referencing all this shit that I've never heard of, and I just
catch
kind of
up.
wait. I just wait my turn until there's something that's relevant to me, and then I join back in the
But-
conversation. That's just
You'll
how.
catch
That's
on
just
at
our
some
dynamic.
point.
I'm
But
used
for
to
the
it.
stream, I'm trying to be professional and take note of that. When we're not recording, I don't give a fuck about your inclusion.
Yeah, this show isn't just for Tommy. Okay, it's for
Yeah.
everybody else too.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
so
for all
my
of our listeners who
Yeah,
we love dearly.
my first note. So I watched this on my I have this on Criterion on Blu-ray, but on the menu there's a section that's called TV calibration. And if you read it, it tells you how to calibrate your TV to match David Lynch's original vision for how like the tint and like the brightness
Whoa.
settings. And
My
it's
God.
so
Wow.
funny because I read it in his voice every time I
Yeah.
look at it because it's equal parts like instructional on how to set up the TV to like watch this movie, but also like he kind of like inserts a couple jabs about like modern TVs don't have the proper settings to watch things in the right way. Like it's meant to be. It's not like a neutral like statement at all. Like he's definitely like poking at like modern televisions and like how they can't truly represent. But I don't know. That is
Oh
pretty
yeah,
funny.
he is kind of like a
He is a little bit of-
stickler for like. Have you seen the clip where he's like, "You can't watch movies on your fucking phones"?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Get real.
Yeah.
That's
Get
closer.
real. That's closer
I
to how
almost watched this movie on my phone because my power was out today.
Oh, that would have been
And I
perfect.
didn't
Get real.
Yeah,
Any
you,
Wi-Fi.
yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah,
Oh, that's perfect.
I always hear his voice in his character from Twin Peaks, like
Gordon
Yeah.
Cole.
like that, but like
Yeah.
screaming.
Yeah,
Hello, Agent Cooper.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, yeah, because sorry to go back to like interpreting Lynch's work. There's like a 3-hour long YouTube video that I've watched like a decent chunk of, but it's this guy who like he's like
Semi-recommended.
he like correctly or in his mind like this is the definitive exactly what Twin Peaks is really about. And it's like it's interesting, like he posits some interesting theories, but it feels like the most like antithetical thing to like David Lynch, like a 3-hour long video telling you what this highly interpretive thing is. But the most annoying part about it is every time he like he quotes David Lynch as like evidence of like, oh, David Lynch said in this interview, blah 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 blah, and then he shows a clip from Twin Peaks. But he does the most grating David Lynch voice.
Oh,
and he'll read
no.
like a paragraph statement and he maintains the voice.
no.
And I'm like, I can't watch this video. I can't keep doing this.
Oh.
It's so grating.
Oh man.
Yeah.
My first note that I had was, why is this in black and white? Wasn't this made in the 70s?
I mean, that doesn't capture his original vision.
Yeah.
It took him like
I don't
7
know.
years to make this movie or something like
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like funding shit or something.
And
I'm not surprised that it was hard to get funding for this fucking piece of work.
well,
Like,
this is essentially
fuck?
like a student film. Like he made it at like AFI, and like it was
Yeah.
the like a big reason that it actually was able to like actually be funded was because like one of the like professors at the college like really fought for it.
Yeah. My first note was like the
tenure is a
lighting.
wild fucking thing.
I thought the lighting was like crazy good for like
Yeah,
how amateur it was supposed to be. It was lit really cool.
that's
Oh, it's
what, like,
gorgeous.
yeah, that's what really sticks out to me for this movie, like over everything else, is like it's I don't know where I would put this in the lineup of. I haven't seen like a handful of his stuff. I think there's 4 movies of his that I haven't seen. I've seen it, but I've seen most of his like Lynchy stuff.
Mhm.
So I don't know where I would put this there. It's not my favorite, definitely. It's like I feel like it's more like in the middle. But I'm not trying to get too far into like ratings or whatever yet. But the thing that really sticks out to me in this rewatch is like as a first film, as a student film, like holy shit, it is so impressive. Like it looks like there's shots that like I'm thinking like there's like the like close up of like the lady across the hall, or the beautiful girl across the hall, I think is what she's credited as. And it's like the really like close ups that he does in a lot of his stuff, and like it looks like lighting wise and like minus the black and white, like it could be in like Mulholland Drive or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of his like probably his like biggest like budget, excess
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
That and like the just the whole production design, like it's really simple, but it also really works for the movie. Like there was production design because there's like those like air ducts like coming through like the middle of like the dining room and stuff like that.
I did notice that. That was
But,
cool.
But like it also seems like they were kind of just like working with what they had.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a first film, like it's really, really impressive, I think.
Yeah, I agree that this movie was technically well done.
Mhm.
Like all of this, like the lighting and all of the weird film school technical shit y'all were just talking about, I think was well done.
Mhm.
And I'll give it that. But it was a weird ass fucking movie.
Besides,
yeah.
besides like the makeup, like even for the time, like some of the makeup is just really, it's amateur. I understand, but like that's the only part of it that like doesn't really look great sometimes.
Like
do
the
you mean?
woman, like the lady in the radiator.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lady in
that
the Radiator.
looks-
That looks like
Oh,
paper mache.
nice.
not great, but the baby's like
The
not
baby was
great
pretty
either.
nifty.
I
But
think,
it was
think so?
it.
I
but
think,
it-
yeah, no, I think the baby was really
No,
the way
I
that
no.
like the
how
eyes,
they moved it and stuff.
the way that the
yeah.
eyes
Yeah,
moved
it's
on the
almost like
the
if-
baby were like, oh, that looks like. I
It didn't look like a real baby, but like how it operated was really
Yeah,
neat.
it's almost like I was gonna say that too.
I was like, did they go to a school and get like parts from like something that like the school kids were supposed to dissect, and they just like rigged it up in this puppet to operate? Because the way that like the eyes looked like glossy and like the way that they moved, I was like,
Yeah.
that looks real to me.
Yeah, no, what I was gonna say is that like while you can tell it's obviously a puppet, it's like pretty good. Like it's and
Uh-huh.
for what it's like the the feeling that it's supposed to get across, like the uneasiness at just like looking at it, like it definitely gets that across. Even though you can tell it's kind of
this whole movie is
semi-
anxiety. That the whole movie is just anxious.
Yeah. I will say that it's funny because like it hadn't even crossed my mind until we got to the scene, but the first time you see the baby like close up, I looked over to Kalia and it was like I fucking knew it before I even looked over at her, but she was like grinning and I was like, you think that baby's cute, don't you? And she's like, yeah, she loves the baby.
It's a little too sweaty. It's a little too sweaty to be
It's a little
cute
glossy.
for me. If it wasn't all sweaty,
And then she was like, she's like, and I really like when he got really big at the end because I was sad when he killed him. So I was glad that he got big.
he looks like no, not really.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It was definitely disturbing because like in Bo Burnham's special, he has a song where one of the lyrics is "My dick looks like the baby from Eraserhead."
Yeah.
And I kind of always like, I wonder if that is like a Rocky Dennis type thing or like is it like? And
so
I couldn't
you
have been
saw
like
the Bo
farther
Burnham
off.
special and you hadn't seen Eraserhead.
No, I hadn't. This is the first
Oh.
like David Lynch movie I've seen. So like,
right.
yeah. So I was like kind of like on the edge of my seat, like, what the fuck is this thing gonna look like? Because I was thinking more like I said, like Rocky Dennis, like a deformed.
That's awesome.
But
human
more like a
face.
human, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like a worm had a baby with a dog or something.
Yeah.
It's like proto ET looking thing.
Yeah.
That's actually a good way of describing it. A worm dog fusion.
Hybrid, yeah.
Kind
Sweaty
of.
worm
Yeah.
dog. Worm dog. Worm
Daegan,
dog.
I really want to know what you thought of this movie.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
you
like,
also haven't seen it before, right?
No, I've no. This is my first David Lynch movie too.
You've seen
Besides
Uh,
ours.
you're watching Twin Peaks though, right?
Yeah, I'm like right in
Yeah.
the middle of Twin Peaks.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. Okay.
Yeah,
So you know
Um,
you've experienced a little bit of it.
Do you
a
recognize
little bit.
Henry?
But that was like all of the what was that in Twin Peaks? The Red Room, wherever he goes
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
That
That's-
was like the whole movie was like a Red Room thing where you're just
Mhm.
kind of like I could look into this 1,000 different ways, 1,000 different times, and get something else out of it each time.
Do you
Yeah.
recognize Henry in Twin Peaks?
I knew I recognized him from somewhere. Yeah, I probably didn't put two and two together that it was Twin
He's
Peaks.
what's his name in Twin Peaks? God, I always forget. Pete Martell.
Pete. Yeah, that's right.
He's got like
Yeah.
the little
He's the
mustache.
guy that
He's the older guy with the
There was
Oh,
a
okay.
fish in
Bitchy
the
one.
Yeah.
percolator.
Yeah,
he looks way older for it only being like 14 years later. He
Yeah, he
looks
does.
like he
Yeah.
looks a lot older than he does in this.
Yeah.
Also, speaking
That's
of Twin
crazy.
Peaks connection, I noticed her name in the credits.
Mhm.
Catherine Coulson she was like credited as the assistant to the director and then like assistant camera operator or something, and that's the log lady from Twin Peaks. I guess she was also in a scene.
yeah.
She
Yeah.
was also in a scene of Eraserhead, but it got cut. I don't know. like,
she's
what it
kind
was,
of been
but-
like his right hand lady in a lot of. I think
Mhm.
she's like credited on like almost all of his movies as like some sort of consultant or
something.
Yeah.
Assistant person. Yeah, I think they both went to. I mean, considering again, this was like through his school. They're like, I think they like were in film school together too. I think that's kind of how they met.
But yeah, what did you think, Daegan? I'm very curious about
Yeah.
your thoughts.
Yeah, keep going.
No, that was really cool. I guess because like just I feel like I haven't ever seen a Lynch film other than yours, so like all I knew was your stuff, and it's just crazy how like you were saying earlier, Autofellatio, you guys were on the mark with how it was. I could either see this as funny or just way too deeply serious, and it just depends on who you are, where you like how you see it.
See,
So I thought that
think,
was cool.
I think there are moments in the movie that are meant to be funny. I think there's like
Oh,
several.
yeah.
I
for
laughed a
sure.
few times in
Yeah.
this movie.
Fucking
Yeah.
small chicken. Do
Yeah.
I just carve
Yeah.
it like a normal
Yeah.
chicken?
Yeah.
Dude, the whole dinner scene, the part where he
Bill,
cuts it,
oh.
and then it's like Yeah, him too. But like the part where he like starts cutting it, and then like it starts like gushing the blood, and then the mom just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
table.
It's so
I
Yeah,
was
when
like
the-
laughing
when the
out
daughter-
loud at that part.
When the daughter started doing that, and the mom just like grabbed her chin and started brushing her hair, and then just
Yeah.
like Henry was
It's-
talking through it, I was like,
It really
Oh,
was like the
And then
first
the grandma in the fucking kitchen just like
Smoking.
smoking
Oh,
a
yeah.
cigarette, doing
And then,
nothing
like,
at all.
the tossing the salad where she like puts the salad in the old lady's lap and then she like does it through her arms and then she puts the cigarette in her mouth and it's like
Yeah.
that shit is like straight out of like a Lynch that we would have done.
See,
like,
Yeah.
that's what I
all
mean.
that
Is
shit.
like I think there's a lot of people who watch his stuff and take that shit like totally seriously.
yeah.
So I'm like,
what does this
no,
mean?
No,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be funny, and his shit
Yeah.
is funny when he
Well,
goes.
Yeah.
there's.
It's like
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's like Tim and Eric style like absurdist comedy like
Yeah.
decades before.
yeah,
There's.
It's just very dry. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would say that like a lot of Lynch's stuff is also like very intentionally slow and deliberate. Like
Mm-hmm.
like
Oh, yeah.
the scene of her like putting the cigarette in the grandma's hand and then like putting it and then lighting it and then it shows her like sitting there kind of puffing it a little bit. Like there's a clip that I've seen. It's kind of like David Lynch being pissed on set a little bit, not being pissed on, but him personally being pissed. But
That's what I thought you were saying at first, actually.
But there's like he's shooting a scene from The Return, and I think one of like I don't know if it's like the assistant director or one of his assistants like basically says something about like, you know, hey, should we like cut this for time? And he just like he kind of snaps, and it starts
Yeah.
out kind of snapping at her, but then it's kind of he kind of opens it up, but he's just like he's basically like upset that people are like, hey, speed it up, because like a lot of stuff in Twin Peaks The Return is like very like the stuff with Dougie especially is just like so slow and deliberate and like sometimes like infuriatingly so, but
Yeah.
that's his style, and it's like it can be funny, but also I do think, you know, in some ways he does have like meaning behind it, or like you're supposed to pay attention to it. But like that's definitely present in Eraserhead, like the way that he very, very slowly will like sit on a scene, like with Bill, where he's just like,
Yeah.
just,
and then like
that-
they walk in the room behind him and he's still like looking at him.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Or
Yeah.
like another drawn out one that I like is where it's like the first time he comes home and he like hits the elevator
I was just
button,
gonna say that.
and it like
yeah.
takes like 10 seconds
It
for those
holds
doors
on
to
that.
close.
That was my first laugh, and I was fucking crying. It's so good because it's just like it's funny because another short that we did that wasn't supposed to be Lynchian, but like kind of had the same thing in the beginning where he's just like walking, and it's just like you see like the side of a building, and it's 3 seconds of nothing, and then he walks across, and it takes him 15 seconds to get across, and then he's out of the shot, and it still holds for like 3 seconds, and it's like that's kind of what I had pictured when we did V. That's what
Oh.
we like pictured was like this really long, but it just takes so much time. And anyways,
Yeah.
so I was kind of like, okay, yeah, yep, this is a Lynch movie for sure.
Yeah.
I can tell already. And then it got to that elevator scene, and I was like, please just fucking sit here for like 15 seconds. And he just sat there for. It just hit me. It hit me right in the fucking money shot.
Now,
Speaking of
one
money shots.
yeah.
speaking of money, oh yeah. There's one that I wanted to mention that I don't know if it was the hardest I laughed, but I was laughing pretty fucking hard. But also, I wanted to bring it up because I wondered if you guys also laughed at it, or if I just thought it was funny. But it's like it's nearing the end, and it's just him sitting in the apartment with the baby, and like it's like silent, and then you hear the baby go.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like,
oh yeah.
and then it'll laugh for a few seconds, and then it'll stop for a few seconds, and then it'll start again, and then it'll stop. I was laughing so hard by the end of that part.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was like a back and forth. Because every time he would kind of get up and look, it would stop, and then when he kind of
Yeah.
lay back down, it'd be a little while, it would start again.
Like
And it
when
was
he
kinda
goes
how
to leave earlier. He like goes to leave and it starts
It was
crying. and
crying,
then it turns around.
yeah.
Right when he gets
Yeah.
sick or
So-
whatever.
It's like right at the beginning. It's like right when she
Oh.
leaves. It's like right after he like puts his coat on. He opens the door and it's like
Yeah.
every time he like opens it to leave, it cries.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he has just stays trapped inside with it.
Well, it's like
He
I
can't
do
leave.
feel like I don't know. My interpretation is that like in some weird way, like this baby is almost like emasculating to him.
Mm.
Like I don't know, like as a man, like he can't keep his wife
But
or
it's
like
so cute.
yeah, I don't know. You know, because I do think there's like room for interpretation about this movie for like how weird and like open ended I think it can be on like its themes and ideas. But I guess that was my interpretation. That it was just like after all this, like the baby knows that he's like he doesn't want this, and like after all of the shit, and like because no, isn't that right after he sees like the beautiful woman across the hall? She's like with that dude who's got like shit on his face, and they're like making out and, like, staring at him.
It's
and
like
then
the
he
baby's
shuts,
laughing at him.
Yeah, he shuts the door, and then he
That's
just kind of
right.
sits on the bed, and the baby like starts laughing at him. So I was like, I thought, you know,
That's
like
right.
my interpretation was like this baby kind of like ruined everything that he had going for him, because like his girlfriend got up in the bed, is like, I can't do this anymore, and then she leaves. You know,
Did he really have anything going for him at all?
He was a great printer. He had
before?
a
His
future
head,
ahead of him.
his head makes great erasers. He had that.
Yeah,
going
he
for him.
still had good knees because he wasn't a plumber.
I wasn't a
Yeah.
plumber.
Right. Look at my knees.
I guess the baby did kind of look like a wet noodle, so maybe it was supposed to like kind of represent him, because he's kind of very like reserved and like
Yeah.
okay,
Passive.
yeah, and the mom's like, did you have sex with my daughter? Did you have intercourse with my
intercourse.
daughter? And then she like tries to make out with him, and he's just like and like
Yeah.
Mary,
kind of represents.
can you come here, Mary,
Can you
please?
come pull
I'm
your
gonna
mom off my
calls her
neck?
over and a little aroused.
Yeah,
Also, a very horny movie. I feel like the entire movie had like a lot of like
Oh yeah.
erotic
there's
undertones.
sperm everywhere.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah. I mean that's yeah.
The another thing
I
okay.
didn't feel that.
Didn't?
Those
Oh really?
The horniness. Yeah.
Oh.
And normally that's like the first thing I pick up on.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
But
was
I
rock
didn't-
hard as soon as I saw the elevator scene. I was rock hard the rest of the way. So
Well, I
definitely
mean,
felt
Call that
it.
a tight
Yeah.
90.
Yeah.
so I think the general, and of course David Lynch says that like nobody's ever really gotten it, but I think like a generally accepted thing is that like it is, as I think a lot of his stuff is, like once you hear an explanation, you realize like a lot of his stuff is more literal than you think. You just kind of have to like it's
Suspend
there's just, like,
belief,
every
I guess, a little bit.
every scene in itself feels so disjointed, but like the movie overall is like it is just kind of about the anxiety of being a father, and like it is with like he's that's coupled with his like he has this weird like dichotomy with like sex and stuff. Like he wants to bang, but he's like terrified of like being a dad. Like he has all the you know, all the visions
Yeah.
of the little like sperm monster things, and his baby literally like looks like one of those to
Yeah.
him,
Mm-hmm.
or you know, it not just to him obviously, but
That's what I was thinking while I was watching it, because I was expecting Moose to be like, what the hell was any of that? And like as I was
Yeah.
watching, I was just like, oh, I mean, if you just kind of watch it, I feel like it does tell a story. Like I feel like it's a pretty linear story. Like,
okay, yeah, no,
like
'cause
just like
look-
what you were just saying, but like yeah,
You know, talking about speaking of like the movie being horny, the opening scene, like the titles, where the title shows up, that's essentially a sex scene.
Yeah.
It opens with a sex scene.
Yes, it does.
That's
yeah.
what's happening there.
Yeah,
that's
there's
him.
little,
That's him impregnating his girlfriend.
There's little sperms flying around, and then one of them lands into like a pool of.
There's like or there's like the
acid or something.
planet,
I
and then
think
there's
we
like
ruined the
there's
movie
like the
for you.
Yeah.
cavern, the little like valley
Yeah.
that the camera like goes up.
there's
Alright.
even like
Eh.
like some. I was like, those look like little hairs. Like it's supposed to be like
Moose-
birth
yeah.
Moose
canal.
is gonna watch this. He's gonna watch the scene. He's gonna be like, "Oh, I get it now. This movie fucking rules." No, what I kind of wanted to bring up with what you were saying, TJ, about the anxiety about fatherhood, like I actually thought like when his wife, they don't really show if they actually get married, but I'm assuming they were married at this point.
Yeah.
when she's like, I can't take it anymore, and then she leaves, he actually seems like a good dad. Like I was kind of like, oh, he's like, I like this dude. Like he's
Until he
like,
kills it.
yeah, but I mean, it was a piece of shit. It was laughing at him and
Yeah.
trying to leave the apartment and shit. It's like had separation anxiety. It's like, come on. I mean, I know babies have object
Hey, babies
permanence
can tell
issues,
when
but-
you're a real piece of shit. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's unqualified, but he's like very like he's like takes its temperature and stuff, and then he
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically turns around and then he looks back and it's got like it's like almost like a
Measles
jump scare and it's like
Yeah.
got the shit all over him. He's like,
yeah.
oh, you are sick.
Yeah.
and he's got the little like humidifier with like.
Yeah. The little pot thing. That's
I mean,
yeah,
contrast
Yeah, I
that with
thought
like
so
his
too.
girlfriend who got up and like yelled at it to shut up and then left.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then when she's going to leave and she's like, she reaches under the bed for something and she's just pulling and it's getting more and more intense and you're like, what
Mhm.
the fuck's gonna
Yes.
happen? And then she just pulls out a suitcase and then
Yes.
she
But she
that
does
was
it.
so
weird.
Very
It's like,
similar to
what
the
fuck is
elevator
happening?
scene. She's just like pulling on it, like
On the fucking bed.
Staring at
But
him.
I-
making
Yeah.
eye contact. Yeah.
And again,
Yeah.
I think in some ways it's like almost like this subtle, like horniness or like erotic thing. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like she's taunting
That was-
him.
it was almost like she was giving him a hand job or
Or like because like the
something.
bed was shaking, like the bed
Yeah.
was shaking rhythmically, like it does
Sure.
when you have sex
Yeah.
on a bed.
Yeah.
Or or people say.
Or so I've heard.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I've heard
Yeah, yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Damn,
I
this movie is horny. You guys are right.
That's
I
Yeah.
I read on the wiki too that he was like inspired or something to like he like to do this when he or it was like at least a
Pregnant his
partial like
girlfriend.
reasoning. No, he had a daughter and she was born with like clubbed feet and she had to have like surgeries done to like fix it. I'm like, wow, that'd
it
be
the
great
one-
to like
Imagine
that'd
growing
be-
up and knowing
yeah.
that.
that you're the Eraserhead baby. That
Oh
like your
my
dad
God.
was like, this is how I see you.
Is it? It's not the one that's in the movie, right? Because he has a daughter that's in the movie.
Was that a daughter? Because I noticed a couple other Lynches.
It's Jessica
like, named in
Lynch.
it.
Yeah, I did kind of a deep dive on her.
Maybe then.
She's.
Oh, that's
I
wild.
think she plays the kid who picks up the head, which is another kind of wild scene where this kid sees a head on the street and their first reaction is like, "Yoink!"
Yeah.
I'm gonna take
I have
this
to go
to
sell it.
wherever
To the
whatever
Apple
business
factory.
this is.
Ooh, I'm gonna buy a Willy Wonka chocolate bar with this. Maybe I'll find a golden
because I've got a golden ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was her, then yes. Yeah, it's that one.
Jessica Lynch
Wait, was it Jennifer?
or Jennifer. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
Jennifer. Yeah.
And that was
That's-
another,
that's the
like,
one that I'm seeing.
Funny scene when the kid takes the head to that like the
Yeah.
pencil place and the guy just rings the
To the-
thing and then the
Yeah.
guy comes down, he's like, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's almost
Aw.
like Three Stooges type
Yeah.
comedy. Like I told you,
Aw.
like right
Yeah,
in
yeah.
his face or whatever.
It's
Yeah, it's
it's
so good.
very like
And
dream.
he's like pointing for a
Yeah.
while before he even says anything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's very like I mean it's a dream within a dream essentially. If the
Mhm.
whole movie is a
Yeah.
dream
Yeah.
and that I mean that was like a dream inside of it. Like it's
Yeah. I
layers like in Inception.
it is cool how like he does kind of I wouldn't say that my dreams are exactly like this, but there are things where it's just like shit just like happens and you're like, wow, that does like feel very reminiscent of just like I don't know, just like a random thing and you'll be like, why did that happen? But like
Yeah.
I can like recall like thinking like that in my dreams too, and it's
Yeah.
really cool how he like
second,
shows that.
the second that the very moment, the instant in time when you first mentioned the idea of a J, it just like a light switch fucking flipped in my head. Because
Of a,
that's
of a
like
dream.
yeah,
kinda cut out.
dreams. Like this movie is a fucking dream. Because like that, this is exactly. See, you're saying I wouldn't go so far as to say exactly it's no, I would go as far as to say that this weird fucking shit, and
Say
then like
what?
random shit comes back, like the lady in the radiator, but then also like stuff happens that's like really important, like his head gets blown off, but then later his head is back on again.
Yeah.
and it as if nothing happened.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude,
That's-
that's it. That
that
made
part-
sense to me.
That part's like definitely a dream, right? Because like then it
Yeah.
cuts and he's like in bed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
That
You're
is
kidding.
like
What?
That wasn't like part of like the story in the movie.
no, because it like
No,
well,
that one was like
I mean,
actually.
well, that's
No,
the
it
thing
was
is
like-
it is as much as everything else is, but also
Yeah.
yeah, that's like pretty clearly like a vision because it's like it does that slow zoom in on the radiator, and then you get the scene with the lady, and then
Yeah.
he's there with her, and then his head pops off, and then they take it to the eraser
I guess you're
whatever
right.
place, and then Ted's dad goes, "It's
Well, fuck
okay,"
me.
and then
Never
It's
mind that.
okay.
he wakes up. Yeah.
But the question is, where does the dream end and the movie begin? Or I'm kidding. But yeah, it's that is no wait, it's not that part. The part like the cover of the movie where
Yeah.
like somebody blows the eraser dust and it's behind him and he's like,
Oh, I loved that.
I thought that was no, that wasn't the
That's
that
later,
wasn't the
right?
pencil dust. That was like it was like the egg thing that like
oh
Like,
yeah yeah yeah
cracks
open
open
it,
and
yeah
then it, like
yeah. Okay.
It's such a
but
cool
there
shot.
is that transition of it's after he does that. It's okay, and then he like you see like the eraser shavings on the table, and he like wipes it off, and then there's that that cloud of
There-
them.
yeah, it
I
does that,
really
yeah.
love that transition.
It's so cool.
I don't know why, but that really stuck out to me. And then
Oh.
yeah, they do the eraser shavings again at the end.
Again,
other-
to get
yeah.
that lighting to catch just like it looks like stars or something like a
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
think
a,
that's
a
what it's going
snowy
for.
sequence. Yeah.
or
Because
snow.
when
Yeah.
when it shows the planet, like the little meatball planet, like floating in the stars, I think it's kind of cool to like sort of
Or-
emulate that.
Or it's like a cum sock when it's all dried out and then you just like
I-
that and all the dust comes out. That's
See,
what it
I
looks
had that
like.
idea of like at the very beginning when
Oh,
he
the
puts his
eraser
sock on the
shavings.
radio when he puts his sock on the radiator and then while she's dancing the little sperms are falling on her and I'm like, is that supposed to represent
Oh, I
his,
never thought
that's his
about
cum
that.
sock? And as the radiator dries it out, all the little guys fall on her.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
What'd you guys
Oh,
think of the
shit.
song though? Because I love that song.
I had a
I really like.
I made coffee and we had macaroni and cheese for dinner and while I was like stirring the noodles and the macaroni and cheese in my head I was like, in heaven everything is all right.
I really wish
Yeah.
it like kept going because I really like the melody, like how he. It was actually sung by a dude, but I really like how they were singing that. I really like that song a lot.
This is gonna be off color, but one of my notes, which hey, that's not really out of character for me. I
The
guess,
film's
but
black and white. I'm sorry, Travis, you can't.
One of my first notes that I forgot to mention earlier is that the baby is still abortable even in Texas.
Oh man.
Wait, I'm lost.
because
Because
it's-
Me too.
Because they had like it said that I thought they had sexual intercourse only like a couple weeks before.
Well, yeah, but the baby was born.
it's pre 6 weeks, so
It's pre 6 weeks. Is
So
the
you-
joke.
6 weeks?
Oh, I see.
I'm
what
pretty
you're saying.
sure.
Like,
I just
Okay.
thought it was. all I heard was premature.
I see.
I
what
think
you mean.
I think the mother that was
Oh.
the mother trying to like justify what it is. Cuz
I thought-
she says like that's no baby and then her mom says,
Like I
"Well,
don't even
he's
know.
a little premature," which, you know.
Yeah, because I
Did
thought
he
he
say
was
out
like
loud that it was just a few weeks? Like, did they
I-
explain the timeline?
No,
Maybe-
he said
maybe not,
he
but
said
I
it
was
was
thinking
only
the joke.
he was starting to say it was only this long ago, but then she
yeah,
like
he's
cut
like
him
it's
off
not
right when he was
possible. Yeah.
So
It was
at
only-
least wasn't 9 months, you could say. Like it was.
Yeah.
It was less than a normal
Yeah.
gestation period.
Getting in the
But
weeds
the-
about Travis's abortion joke.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I was kind of just also saying that like even like conservatives from Texas would be like, yeah, let's get rid of that one.
That's
That's
know
part of
what?
it too.
The other
I-
Twin Peaks thing that I
Oh, yeah.
that I sort of thought about was like his tree that he had, There was like a shot
Oh,
of like
yeah.
when he's in the radiator with her, and like you can see his tree in the background, and I was just like, I am the arm, and I
thought of
sound
that
like
too.
this.
But that's
Yeah, I thought of that.
that's where
too.
the log lady gets her log from. Is that tree
It's-
like
yeah.
starts to grow?
I feel bad that like only 3 of us really understand what's going on.
Yeah.
You'll get there,
Um,
Daegan. On it's a Twin Peaks reference, so you'll get there.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen Log Lady at this point, I'm sure.
Well, you get
Yeah,
the log.
definitely. Yeah,
she's like
I got
first
that at
episode.
least.
Oh, I wanted to bring this up. I think he mentioned it during the break, but Tom was talking about how like, oh, I think like a lot of those plays or whatever, or no, maybe he mentioned it once you're back, whatever. That like, oh, I think it's about like the Holocaust or about the plight of the Jews or whatever. And like, I know you're specifically talking about like the Jewish Holocaust, but another popular theory, and like I can see this one, like I can see how it works, is that like it is also like kind of a analogy or whatever for like the atomic bombs and like fallout and like the, you know, so like atomic Holocaust. I just thought I'd been like the baby being deformed, and also like Henry has a framed photo of a mushroom cloud in his house. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't catch that.
Or
And
what
then
about
kind of like
his-
the general nature of like the outside world is very kind of like post-apocalyptic-y
Yeah.
looking. So that interpretation, although again you were speaking about a specific Holocaust, you know, you're not off. Like I feel like you could probably like you could like elaborate on your theory to David Lynch, and he'd be like, sure thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Well, so like I think that the stronger metaphor is for capitalism, because like
Oh yeah, I want to hear this one.
so it's not okay. It's not fully well thought out. Okay, because I don't think it's possible to have a fully well thought out interpretation of this movie.
Oh, okay.
But
That's the fun.
so like with the okay, so a man's fucking head falls into the street. What's the little child's like instinct? You gotta go sell it to this guy so I can make some money and eat today. You know, the kid is poor, and then they take his body, like part of his head, and literally turn it into a commodity to sell. You know, the eraser.
There's something in there.
You know.
See, I think
know?
it's a socialism
You
thing
know?
because every time the successful and very well-need Henry tries to leave the apartment, the poor downtrodden holds him back and doesn't let him leave. So it's against socialism.
I mean, you could say that Henry is the bourgeoisie, because he goes to like the dinner scene, and Bill is just like, yeah, look at my knees. Like Bill is very much Henry works as a printer, and he's on vacation right now. Like I like, because like you were talking about it being like this, like, you know, maybe post mushroom cloud, post apocalyptic landscape, and like one of the scenes that was like so funny to me is it starts out, and like we haven't even really touched on like the ambiance of this movie, which is just like this very industrial grating, like nuclear winter wind blowing like throughout the entire thing pretty much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's like it shows Henry walking very anxiously through this like wasteland, and then he gets to his apartment, and he checks his mail. Like just the like the two contrasting ideas of like nuclear fallout, what rain or shine, atom cloud or not, like the mail runs on time, and he's just like,
Rain,
like-
snow, sleet, or hail.
yeah,
Or like the one time, well, I guess I'll say other than Bill, like the one time you see like anybody smile in this movie, Henry just like comes home, like he's coming home from work. His wife and the baby are there, and he just like lays on the bed, like almost doing like one of these, like like he's just sitting there like smiling, like thinking to himself.
Well, there's like I was reading some of the liner notes. Oh, I was gonna bring this up. Shit. I was reading the liner notes for the Criterion of this, and it's like it has an interview with David Lynch, and in the first question, he talks about how like this is his Philadelphia story, but he doesn't have a Jimmy Stewart. Like he references the Philadelphia story. So I was like,
That's
all right, well, there's
awesome.
another interpretation, I guess.
Okay, I forgot that there's another. I thought you were talking about Philadelphia, the movie with Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington, and I was like, wait,
Pause. What?
I don't think we're gonna go there.
But yeah, it's just oh yeah, but there's another part where he talks about like he's like, yeah, you know, despite this like apocalyptic landscape, Henry's room could be interpreted as like being kind of cozy. And it's like, you know,
Yeah,
he has this job that apparently pays him well enough, and he's like on vacation, so it's like even in this hellscape, hell world that he lives in, you know, he has his little apartment and his little slice of life and his little lady in the radiator.
And his little dirt night lamp.
It's oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's like the dirt, yeah, just like sitting on like end tables and stuff.
Yeah, there's just kind of like piles of dirt everywhere, really.
Yeah.
I think as much as I was talking up like the other technical aspects, I kind of didn't even mention the true like shining light. I think over like everything in this movie is the sound design. Like there's and it's like constant. There's like never not like a little like low rumble except for like a few like key moments, and it's one of those cases where like when there isn't sound, it's deafening. It's like one of those. But I like movies where the sound sticks out, and I think it really does in this. Like I know it's like even when she's like, yeah, we mentioned before, and she's like making the salad, you hear like she like dumps out the dressing. It's like boo, boo, like I mean I can't really do it, but like, and you hear like thump it down on the table, like you hear everything, and it's so like crunchy, and like it just adds to that like general uneasiness, or like kind of like ooh, like even like normal stuff kind of like it's not like every noise is making me go like ooh ooh ooh, but like it just, you know, it's makes you a little weird
When he's
feel a
got the
little
humidifier
anxious.
next to like the baby, there's like a close up of like the bubbles, and the bubbles are just like like just super in your face and intense.
Yeah. So I really liked the sound.
Or like even like the
Especially.
jump scare when the baby's sick, and it's just like it hits you, you know.
Yeah.
I think I would still say the lighting is more impressive than the sound design, but
Maybe.
yeah,
I don't. I think
agree.
I think the sound like maybe it's just like what's most effective for me for like kind of bringing out the that feeling of anxiety or whatever. I don't know. I maybe it's just because like sound doesn't often get talked about in just film discussion in general. So when it is like when it is a standout, I like to bring it up.
Is that was that actually your reaction, or did you just read it on the Wikipedia article and then think, oh yeah, no, wait, yeah, the sound design was good, I'll bring it up?
Oh wait, the call's coming from inside the house. TJ's a film school nerd.
The call's coming from inside the house.
He's got the Ghost Rider app on his phone.
No, I wrote it down when I wrote it down when she was making the salad. Page. No, I wrote it down when she was making the salad.
Okay.
I was like that in particular really stuck out to me, and then I was like, you know, as it like that sort of kept up throughout the course of the movie, I was like, yeah, okay, yeah.
So you open the Wikipedia page that early in the movie? Is that what you're saying? And then
it specifically talks about like how the salad dressing sounds. And, like, hey, like just because I'm not as contrarian as some of you, you probably can find this on like the Wikipedia. I'm sure I'm not the first person to set a lot.
No, I was on board. Oh. I'm on board with you about like the sound design.
Thank you.
I mean, that's my whole deal when like with Bloom, like, you know, doing the ADR and getting like the ambient sounds and shit. Like I don't think it gets talked about enough. Like I feel like it's such an underutilized part of filmmaking that I think people tend to overlook instead of, visuals or whatever.
Sound. I think sound, unless it's a focal point, like you could say in that in the recent movie, The Sound of Metal, because that does play a lot with the sound in the movie. And then there's another one from a couple years ago called I Lost My Body that also has really cool sound design. But like, unless it's a certain movie like that, I think the reason that sound doesn't get talked about is because it's one of those aspects of filmmaking where, like, if it's done good, you don't notice it. That's, unless it's something like Eraserhead where they want you to notice it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big reason why, because most movies, like, if we were talking about Amadeus, I'd be like, yeah, the sound's good. And that's all I would say.
Yeah.
Like, it has good sound.
Stand out.
Yeah. Right.
It's not like a character almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whereas like editing, which a lot of people do look over, but I think editing is still a lot more, for being one of the more overlooked things. It also isn't. It's the most easy one to stand out over sound or like set design, or I don't know, maybe not set design.
One of the weird ass fucking plays that we did in high school. This one notably was not about Jews. There were no Jews in this one.
Okay.
But it was
the one outlier.
Instead it was about like Mars, like colonizing the planet Mars. And it was like these vignettes throughout like different, like over the centuries of like human interaction with Mars. And like
that sounds really interesting for a high school play. Yeah,
it was interesting ish. It was weird as fuck, made no sense at all. But the reason I bring it up is because you had to one thing that the script called for was to have live Foley sound work on stage.
That's cool.
And so like my job was like I just like stood there like in the corner of the stage with the script out, and like I was also the narrator, so I'd narrate the fucking scene into a microphone, and then I'd watch the actors go, and then I'd like go boing or whatever the fuck with my little like gadgets and gizmos that were on the table with me.
That does sound cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so that was like intentional sound design.
There you go.
Our high school did
a
that
weird
kind of
ass
shit.
fucking story.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Like not
What
that
if he just had Lynch's brother as his like director in high school, his theater director?
It was David Lynch
like,
and a Groucho Marx like nose with mustache and like eyebrows.
Not that I didn't have fun on ours, but like ours were all just like
pretty by the books.
We would have never in a million years done like a vignette play about colonizing Mars and stuff. We did like Wizard of Oz,
too highbrow,
and Christmas Story, and like really just like ones that everybody.
Your crowd
like
pleasers.
Times. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so. Like in the spring, we did musicals that were like people knew about. With the exception of one. There was one about a spelling bee that was super weird. But yeah, like our fall plays.
When you're talking about.
Oh, you know that one
me too. I can't think of what it's
called. Is it like a spelling bee in somewhere or someplace or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
There's a spelling bee and yeah.
Yep,
No,
yep.
yeah, okay. That's one that we did. But there's a song in as an aside in that spelling bee musical. There's a song called "My Unfortunate Erection," where one of the spelling bee contestants is called to spell a word, but he has like a massive boner, and it's really embarrassing.
Your high school
did that?
About
it. They changed the lyrics to be "My Unfortunate Distraction."
Oh,
totally fucking ruined it. I know.
Oh my god.
Lame.
Big ass bummer. Yeah, but our fall plays, for the most part, and also like our like one act like competition plays that we did.
What?
Weird as fuck.
See, we didn't do those either. Like we're from a not very arts friendly town, I guess. Like we had like the most minimal.
Oh yeah.
Film theater like anything. Like
we had like 2 lavalier mics for the leads, and everyone else just had to belt it.
Yeah.
Do y'all have like one act play competitions in high
No.
schools in Michigan?
No, that sounds like
absolutely
that
not.
would be so up my alley. But
Oh, yeah.
no, we literally had the fall play and then the spring musical, which I never did. But we had that, and that was our entire theater program, and it really felt more like they only included those because they like have to, as like a school, they
Interesting.
like have to include a theater program or something.
Yeah.
So they do the bare minimum.
Yeah, our school didn't have
Yeah.
a lot of money, especially like when I was going to school. It was like, especially then, we had
Well,
jack shit for money.
Yeah. So like, is this specific to your school, or is it like statewide? Michigan doesn't have this.
Probably
like,
not.
thing?
Probably
There's,
not
like-
statewide.
Probably not
but,
statewide.
like,
no.
well,
in
the
our
thing,
area,
our
no.
region. Our
Yeah.
well, the
region,
thing about
maybe.
our area is that there were like 2 or 3 incredibly wealthy families in town. So when the school did get anything nice, it usually had to do with athletics because
Yeah.
the wealthy benefactors had kids that were in like football or wrestling or whatever. So like,
our football stadium named after
mean,
yeah,
I think that's probably how it
family
is.
that I won't name.
I think that's probably how it is across the entire country.
Oh, yeah.
If
Yeah.
somebody's going to donate money, it goes to like the athletics. Which, to be fair, the school does make more money off of the sports
Yeah.
stuff than the other
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So
Oh, absolutely. Them Friday Night Lights.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on
Great show.
villains.fandom.com. Can I read you guys a couple of things for the entry for Henry's baby?
What?
There's
Yes.
Henry's okay, well, all
Yeah.
all interpretations are valid, so let's hear
Yeah.
them out.
Full name unknown, alias the baby, occupation Henry Spencer's son, powers / skills driving people to insanity via crying, teleportation, size changing, shape shifting. Hobbies include keeping Henry from having affairs,
This all checks out.
crimes mind breaking. So there you go. This is something that else that's on this page that is pretty interesting. The symbolism for the baby. Most people believe that the baby represents fear. According to this interpretation, the baby was actually a representation of the fears that Henry, the film's protagonist, had about becoming a father, which we said. This explains the grotesque appearance of his son, and it could possibly explain the rest of the film. The baby is also believed to be the result of consequences. Henry was known to let things happen, meaning that he chose not to take responsibility for his actions. He chose to have relations with his girlfriend, and it resulted in the birth of his son. Now he has to live with the responsibility of taking care of an unwanted child. And then this is the other thing. Because of the many interpretations of the plot, the child's intentions and level of awareness are up to interpretation. It is possible that it was just a normal child perceived by Henry to be disfigured, or a disfigured child with no ill intent. In that case, Henry would be the true villain. So
Yeah.
kind of like combining those two things of like the taking on the not wanting to take on the responsibility, so he like made the baby a villain.
Right. I mean, I think if we are assuming that like this is all a dream, but like I guess in reality, the Henry that I guess we never see, because assuming the whole movie is a dream, but like the real Henry is actually like a new father, that like this is his, just like how he sees the baby. Because I would say that there's some things that like contradict the whole like it's just how he perceives it.
Yeah, definitely.
I.e., like for instance, the mom saying like that thing's not human, or however she words it.
Yeah.
But taking the whole movie as like taking place inside his head, yeah, you could say that that's
she
that's
would
how
like
he
be
truly
on his
see it.
side about that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like I mean, I wouldn't even call the baby a villain regardless of what that website says, because it's just like it's a baby. Like,
But then in one of the dreams, though, like he was looking out the door to the pretty lady across the hallway, and then she looked back at him, and the baby's head was on his body. and she
Oh,
was looking at
yeah,
it like that.
Right.
So
Yeah, that
maybe that's
part's
what he
funny.
thinks. Yeah, that's what people see him as. That's what he thinks.
I was getting
Yeah.
vibes from like The Shining. I guess it'd be the inverse because like this came out before The Shining, but like the scene when he looks down the hallway and he sees like the two guys in like the dog costumes and like he's like blowing the
yeah.
guy and then he like looks up and looks down the hallway at him. I don't know, like when they were like making out and then like they turned and looked at
Yeah.
him and then it's almost like voyeuristic.
Yeah.
Wasn't the first dialogue in the movie that was almost comical? This is like, I just remembered this from before. That was almost comical because he's walking into his apartment. I think you brought this up earlier. Like he's just coming home from work, and that's when you first see like the pretty lady across the hall, and she says like, you know,
Are you Henry?
her and her mom are calling you over for dinner, and then he just kind of like stops and stares at her, and then holds it for a while. He's like, all right, and then just like kind of walks in his house or in his room or whatever. I
Yeah.
was like, where is this going?
Well, it's like, yeah, that's like his dialogue is like very slow and deliberate. Like that's like the whole movie is, I guess, in terms of like conversation. Like even the way that like Bill speaks, he speaks fast and then sits there. Like, like, you know, he's like, yeah, I used to work on the thing. And then before it all went to shit. And then he's like, he smiles and then he's like, and then his face, like he goes from smile to like concerned and it just drops. And then he just sits there, and it's like everyone's like talking past each other, and like no one is like speaking almost at like the same frequency with each other.
Yeah.
Oh man, I really like this villains wiki thing now.
Yeah,
It's
great.
interesting. There is a entry for Henry Spencer too, and his hobby is trying to have affairs existing passively. And his goals are to kill his baby in order to have more affairs. And to
Seems a little
continue
one-sided.
continuing to exist passively. In brackets, failed.
That was written by the baby.
Yeah.
Going, as it was
They
typing
wrote
on
each other's entries.
Yeah.
As
Laughing
soon as
at him.
Trevor heard the idea that the baby is the villain, he was on board with that website. He loved it immediately.
Well, I mean, there has to be an antagonist, so
It's
I guess that's another thing that I heard on like a couple different things.
Did you say turd?
that's what I was gonna say.
Definitely
That. I
did
didn't
say
want to
so.
interrupt him, but
I
it
was-
definitely did sound like he said
And he
turd.
paused
maybe.
afterwards too, and it's like,
Something that I heard.
Maybe. No, it was that I guess like he's, and who knows, he could just be doing it to fuck with people too, but people have always like wondered how he did the effect of like the baby's organs and stuff at the end. And like there's rumors that like they like
Oatmeal.
cut up like a dead rabbit and that's like the rabbit's
Jeez
organs and
Louise.
stuff. And like he's never like given a definitive answer as to like what it is. You have something?
One of the supplements on the Criterion, it's an interview with him and I think the director of photography or like his camera guy. That's like 1979 or something like that, and it's talking with they return to the set or like the location in California where they shot a lot of the exterior shots, and it kind of cuts down. It's so funny, like David Lynch is just so casual about stuff. He's just like talking, and he's like, yeah, and if you look down here, there's like a dead cat, and then it cuts down, and sure enough, it's like a partially decayed like dead cat.
I seen that. That sounds
And
really
basically he says, he's like, yeah, we brought it out here. We got it from a vet. It was a cat that had recently died. And he's like, it fell into some tar and it sort of self-preserved. And it's been here
that's
for
right.
5.
God.
And he's like, it's been here for 5 years. And you look down and it's like, yeah, this cat had been there for like 5 years after like they were filming. And it was like partially preserved because it fell in tar. I don't.
Interesting.
Unless, you know, because you said like, oh, they used like rabbit internal organs. We know there's a dead cat that they had on set. I think it was supposed to be like as Henry was walking by, I think it was on the ground, but they never actually show it.
Right. Yeah. He initially wanted to like dissect a cat just to see. He's like, I just want to see what it looks like. And like maybe he used that as like reference for the baby, but like I don't. I feel like because like the cat thing is more known. I feel like if that was the answer,
Yeah.
maybe it would be more definitive. So I think the cat is just like maybe that was the inspiration or something. I don't know.
Man, you were tiptoeing that TJ sounds like a serial killer thing that
Well,
Daegan said.
I actually was thinking about referencing that too. Is that like,
Oh,
hey,
okay.
he sounds like me, being like, I just want to see what it looks like.
Oh, so it's another layer deeper. It's like
Yeah,
David Lynch
it's just
sounding like
me.
TJ sounding like a serial killer.
Yeah,
Well,
that's how we were able to nail the Lynch movies so well because
Yeah.
one of us is a serial killer.
You know the actor who plays I guess he's the arm in Twin Peaks, but he's like the little person who's in Mulholland Drive, who's like let's rock. That dude,
the man from the other place.
yeah,
Yeah.
that dude actually does think that David Lynch is like a killer.
Yeah.
Because yeah, he's like off the deep end. He thinks that like David Lynch like raped his own daughter or some shit like that.
Jeez Louise.
But it was like
he's got those crazy like Edward D's nuts like Facebook posts about it.
Yeah.
Like, he's pretty like loopy.
Wow.
But it was like I guess they were in traffic, and like something happened. Either he got cut off, and like I think David Lynch said something, and he was like, "Oh wow, like that was pretty like I don't know if he said magnanimous, but it was like oh that was pretty nice of you." And then David Lynch was like no, it wasn't. I actually wish I could kill him. Like just like being frustrated, and the only it's like falling down with David Lynch instead of Michael Douglas. Whatever happened to the customer is always right. But like ever since for some reason that interaction, that dude thinks that like David, he also thought that like Twin Peaks was dumb. He thought his character was dumb. He thought the whole thing was dumb, and he's like, yeah, this is crazy shit. I'll do it because I think it's funny, but like this dude's nuts. But yeah, he thinks like David Lynch is actually a serial killer or whatever.
Which is funny because the opposite is true. Pretty much the opposite is true is of anybody who doesn't like anything Lynch, those are the dumb ones.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being an actor on like on a Lynch set. That'd be fucking
They love him.
Weird.
They love him.
I was gonna say it like plus that dude is exclusively in the absolute weirdest parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody else gets, some of the more normal procedural type TV show stuff, but he is just in the weird stuff.
Yeah.
He never has a line of dialogue
like,
spoken.
It's about to get fucking weird.
Not backwards.
This is gonna sound weird, but like I feel like David Lynch is too fucking crazy to be a killer. Like he's just too like out. It's like he's not present in his own body when he's like talking. It's almost like he's like already like 5 minutes into the future when he's talking.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
I don't know why I just saw this, but when we were in LA last year, we drove by his house. So hey,
does he live on Mulholland Drive?
No, but we got to it via Mulholland Drive.
Oh,
I don't
that's
remember
cool.
the road. It's just up in the hills, which are just like a fucking maze. Like it was crazy.
Oh,
but no,
wow.
Mulholland Drive is like there's not that many houses on it, really.
Yeah.
But it kind of like overlooks the valley.
Mhm.
We went to that specifically because like, hey, yeah, if we're gonna go creep on David Lynch's house, let's drive down Mulholland Drive. It was like the only celebrity that like she could find, because we kind of thought of like, hey, we should see if we can find any people's houses, and it was like the only one we could find when like on the fly as she was looking at it. Him and Michael C. Hall, who's his next door neighbor. So
I
guess we saw his too, which is Dexter, who two
serial
serial
killers.
killers.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're getting close to 2 hours. Do you want to start the wrap
Yeah,
up?
I think-
Probably.
First, I want to say that for the last 30 minutes, I've been trying to figure out what play that was about Mars.
Oh,
it's
terrifying.
I had to do a lot of Facebook sleuthing to figure it out way
Okay.
back from 2013. But It's a play adaptation of Ray Bradbury's The Martian Chronicles.
Oh,
Huh.
okay.
I know. Yeah, I've heard of that
Hmm.
book before. That's
The-
goddamn.
the
See,
what
that's so
Chronicles?
much cooler than like anything we would do
Martian
in our school.
Chronicles
Yeah. Yeah, no,
That's
That's that
absolutely.
Jewish?
by Ray Bradbury.
He
He did
wrote
Fahrenheit
451, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't like that book.
But yeah, I was gonna ask, like,
Capitalism.
if if Daegan or Tommy had anything else they wanted to say, since you guys didn't talk as much, but otherwise I'm good with moving on.
It's just interesting hearing you guys talk about that because I guess I've known you guys for so long and seeing all the Lynch stuff you guys have done. Never really watching any of these movies with you or hearing you like review these ever. It's your insight on them is really cool to hear finally. I guess after like over 10 years of friendship, hearing your insight on like the movies that have inspired so much of your like shit. It's fun to hear.
Well, that's again, it's funny because when we were saying when we did Lynch, when we did the original run, like Lynch Park, Last House, and Lynchicity, the only David Lynch movie I'd watched is The Elephant Man, which is like a pretty straightforward normal movie, pretty much, compared to his other stuff. So like all this stuff is really like kind of after the fact. I knew that his, the general style, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
I knew that it was like weird. I'd probably seen like clips from Eraserhead.
We knew
Mulholland
like the
Drive, but-
idea behind
Yeah.
like what
Oh, yeah.
what he
I-
stood for, basically.
I had
Yeah.
seen the movie poster of Eraserhead pretty much all my life. My dad
Mhm.
thinks it's like the funniest thing in the world. Like, because
the poster or the movie?
I think he saw the movie, like, because it's like what 1977, like that's the year my dad
Yeah.
graduated high school, and I
Mhm.
think he likes it for different reasons than we do. I don't think he really like. My dad's he has good taste in movies, but anything that's like I guess super in depth or like, these like sort of like philosophical metaphorical type of movies, I guess his interpretation is, man, that was weird. Like that's pretty
Yeah.
much. He's like, oh, that was kind of funny. Oh, this is weird. But he just he
me
loves
too.
the image of like Henry, like the poster. He thinks it's so funny. But
Yeah,
so
that's-
like
that's
I've known
kind of-
about Eraserhead, and like the first time I ever watched it, I was like, oh Jesus, I did not know that this movie was about any of this shit. I couldn't. It was wild.
Yeah. That's what was like kind of surprising to me is like I thought that I thought our Lynch stuff was like kind of it was parodying. I'm not gonna say that.
Parodying.
I'm not gonna try and say it again. It's that of his movies, but like to an extreme, like a scary movie type extreme. Like I thought we were like exaggerating that shit, but really
Yeah.
we are like parallel. We are on the same
Yeah.
road as him.
He just doesn't
So-
use like Tom
Which is
Petty
the
and
ultimate dick suck
Heartbreakers.
of them all.
Yeah. So that
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that like we're on the level of like filmmaking skill, but like as far as like
no.
emulating the vibe,
Yeah,
I think we
yeah.
do a pretty good job.
Yeah, that's why
And
I
what
think
a vibe it is.
I think for especially like for us three, like I don't know, it's almost like nostalgia watching it, if
Mhm.
that makes any sense. I feel like
Yeah.
a connection to it in the sense that like I don't know, it's like part of my childhood even though I've never fucking seen it before.
That's crazy.
Because it's just like it was like this is a Lynch movie and not meaning a David Lynch movie, meaning a us Lynch movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
God
If we
damn.
actually-
Okay,
if
so
we
I
actually put
came
time
into
the
this
lighting.
podcast with one review and I'm leaving with a completely different review.
Nice.
Seminal hits hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Close to heart.
Okay, you wanna go into the reviews then, or the ratings with that then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Deagles?
Kick us off.
Okay. Yeah.
One
So
star.
it was like the first watch, I guess I only had one watch and I literally just finished it and came right into recording this, so it's all still fresh in my head. But when I'm watching through it, I'm like laughing, and then a split second later, I'm asking a question, and that's what it's like, kind of being outside of when you guys shoot a video, watching one of yours. I'm laughing, and the next second, I'm like, okay, what the fuck was he doing with that? So it's just kind of like I was doing that when I was watching it, and then not until we just watched like Woom, and then went and reviewing this did I like mesh them together, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That all kind of ties in. So it's like before it's just random shit, but it was fun to watch because it was shot really well. Especially, I guess I didn't realize it was 1977,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So that was so I was like thinking back on it. I mean, you can tell it's shot older, but it looks really good. Quality, the lighting is super cool. And then how you guys were saying like light design or makeup or whatever kind of sets the mood. The set design is really cool too. Because how you said before, you could take it as it's. Some people see it as cozy somehow, which you can understand that. But then you could look at it completely different and see that as kind of a terror room. There's dirt everywhere. There's a weird lady in your radiator with roots underneath her. There's just like holes in your blanket. It's almost like depressing. So it's just interpretation is huge with that, and it was just you could see it in so many different ways, and then you could also laugh at it the next second. So it kind of throws you for a loop. With all that said, I don't know if I want to rate it off of how I first watched it, or if I want to rate it off of how I just heard you guys talk, and it's like sentimental now. It's
It's up to
childhood.
you. It's your rating.
No,
No peer pressure.
that like this whole conversation just made me enjoy my watch even more. So I'll give it a 10.
Oh,
What?
damn. Okay.
I'll piggyback off of that because I think I'm also going to give it a 10. I I think this movie is incredible. I think it Moose's jaws on the ground.
I'm
I
really
think
surprised that they can give it that. Yeah.
I think this is like a perfect example of like Lynch firing on all cylinders. I think everything is there. I think he's like not purely, but I think he's a very emotional storyteller. And I think this movie has a lot of that kind of stuff. I think a lot of like your gut responses to like stimuli, the things that you see, the things that you hear. Like, I think that's all intentional. I think the performances are incredible. I think I think like knowing that like how a close like Lynch pays attention to like detail about shit. I think everything that you see in this is like has a meaning and is very intentional. But I think it also, the beauty of it is that it works. You can basically kind of watch it as like a linear story too if you want. It's about a guy who gets his girlfriend pregnant, and it's this weird ass alien baby that he doesn't really want and doesn't know what to do with, and eventually he succumbs to, you know, not wanting to be a father, and he kills it. And then I guess the ending is up to interpretation with like him and like the lady in the radiator kind of fading into light. That's more like visual, metaphorical. But I think, I think it's a incredible start to a career that he sets a lot of pieces in place and sets up a lot of like themes that he expounds on in other pieces of media down his career. And I think for that, it's a 10 for me, dog.
Moose looks like he's like questioning. He's like, "Am I in a dream right now?"
That's why I was.
I'm never letting any of these assholes tell me anything about film ever again.
I was like basing it off the connection. I was like, it's a 10. But then I can see how someone that like is like, you know, doesn't know how far back that goes. Like in Moose's situation, not trying to talk bad. It's just like, I guess you wouldn't see that. You just see it as, oh yeah, David Lynch is weird as fuck. Just how Nick's dad sees it. Like that's weird. I don't like that.
Oh yeah, I don't think Daegan saw any of those. Yeah.
Go ahead, DJ.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a pretty dang great start to a career of like one of the greats. But again, I said it's not my favorite of his. I can't really it's funny, like I feel like it's hard for me to like explain like my issues because it's there's nothing that really like misses other than just like it doesn't. Maybe it's just because I have his other material from him that I like better to like compare it to. That it's like, you know, I think technically it's pretty great. I think it's really funny. And that's one of my favorite aspects about David Lynch's stuff is I think it's hilarious. I do like how loose he is with like, you know, interpret it how you want. And like Tommy even said that like, oh, you know, it's not a great whichever one he was talking about, because we talked about a few different ones. But he's like, it's not like a very thorough one, but you know, I don't think any interpretation of this movie is very thorough. And like, I agree. Like the thing about him being a dad and like the stress of being a dad and like all that stuff, like I think that that's like the most solid one, but it's still not super solid. So like I don't know, I don't know like what a lot of it is, you know, but I can go with the general idea of the few different interpretations that I guess I agree with the most. I don't know.
That
I would-
resonate with you the most.
Yeah, I suppose so.
That you vibe on the same level as.
Yeah. But yeah, not on the level of like some of his later stuff, Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks. I also really love the Elephant Man. Even though it's not like his weird stuff. Anyways, I was between like a 7 and an 8 before, but I feel like I'm more solid in an 8. So I'm going with 8.
You
for this one.
bastard, you ruined it.
Are you gonna give it a 10 too?
You'll see.
Are we gonna
What-
unseat
Yeah,
Amadeus as the most highly rated movie on this podcast?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think we have one that's going to.
We have one
Tank
outlier.
it.
I mean, already my 8 unseats
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I think. Unless both of them gave it a 10.
I was gonna say for
don't-
that would
I'm not
be
gonna do that right
awesome. I'm gonna try and sway Moose
Don't
right now.
give-
I'm gonna
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
Put
don't
your thumb
fucking
on
give
the
it a
scale.
10 because you want to like. You know what rating you want.
I'm gonna pull him to the dark side here. But Daegan, like you were saying, with like our stuff or Lynch's stuff, where sometimes you're like laughing at shit, and then like you're like, what the fuck? I don't. What was that? Those moments. So there's funny parts that are obviously funny. Those are the jokes that we put in for the audience, and then the things where you're like, what the fuck? Those are the jokes for us. Those are the jokes that like only we get when we watch. It's like an inside joke. Like we get to watch the crowd be like, "What the fuck?" Like all
Yeah.
confused and shit. Like it's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm realizing it kind of sucked because I worked late a lot last week, so I fell asleep about 45 minutes and like right at about the halfway point. And I was watching it at night, and I was actually a little creeped out by it. Like the baby, it was very unsettling and stuff, giving me kind of like Blair Witch vibes a little bit. Like I'm kind of scared, but like there's nothing scary.
When it's trying to eat and it's like
Yeah,
it's spitting the food back out. It was weirdly creepy.
but yeah, especially like after
Or the
talking about
chicken
it.
like having more volume of blood than like
Yeah.
the actual size of the chicken would warrant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I do feel like a connection with this movie because I feel like I think it's a book. It's called The Things They Carried. And that's kind of what I feel like with this movie, where it's like this movie has been with me like for my whole life without me even knowing.
Yeah.
I think it's a war book. It's about like Vietnam
That's
or
what it
something.
We've
sounds
talked
like.
about this book before on this
Have we?
podcast.
Have we
Have
really?
Yeah, because I had to read it in high school, and it's like vignettes, and the whole point is like it's about the Vietnam War, and the whole point is like, are they true or aren't they? We talked about this last
Oh
week.
yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Holy shit.
The
Yeah,
things they
yeah.
carried.
Oh, see,
Tim
well,
O'Brien.
Weird.
like TJ said, I don't listen to anybody whatever anybody else says, so like, I didn't hear it.
Just doing Duolingo.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like this was like puzzle piece. Like throughout your life, you're constantly finding these things that like fill little holes that you didn't even know that you necessarily had.
Huh.
And that's kind of what this movie was. It was like this one wasn't like a puzzle piece that I found. It was almost like it was there and I just had to dust it off. I had to clean it off and I was like, "Oh shit, that's what that is." Okay. That's what I've been carrying this whole time. 10.
Nice.
You could be so sentimental about this fucking movie.
It's the puzzle piece, man. It's the puzzle piece.
That's how you know. That's how you know it's good. That's how you know it means a lot.
I think
Holy
it's funny
shit!
I just feel like Travis, like, because he's our biggest like negger.
Oh,
So he had to like.
Whoa.
It's all coming to.
Yeah.
TJ,
Okay. He can't say a word that sounds. Yeah. Okay. I get it. But my point is that he has to like do this super long like he can't just say like I think it's a 10 out of 10. He's like it has to do like he had to
oh my
take us
god!
on a journey.
Well, everybody else
Like-
got to say a big long
I'm just making funny.
Yeah, I know.
Like Travis, you just like
I pushed you farther away, didn't I?
you just talked about this movie in the way that I talked about East of Eden, and like
A little bit.
knowing like how I felt watching that movie and how much it means to me, the thought that this movie could be that for someone is just totally ridiculous.
I will say I don't think that this is as impactful to me as that was to you. I will say that. Like this is more in like I said before, like a nostalgic, like fun kind of way. I think yours was a little bit deeper and
Like the
more
Pokemon
mean.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely gets like I would definitely say that too for mine.
No man.
Well, like after the discussion, I was more firm in my 8 too. So it's kind of the same thing, just like to a little.
Yeah.
I would
because you made those weird movies.
Yeah.
Well,
when
like
you were
you said,
younger.
it is just kind of like connecting. Yeah, there's like a connection.
I would say just like pure movie wise, it's maybe just an 8, but like I have to factor in my own like feelings too.
Yeah,
I guess.
totally. And I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. I feel like that's one thing that I try to do when I'm rating these movies is to really like yeah, okay, it's a technically well done movie, and then you could break it down into categories and rate it on certain things, then give it like a nice like solid like mathematical scientific rating. But for me, it's a lot more just like emotional. How did I respond to the movie? What did the movie awaken inside of me? You know, my father is in the habit of saying the weirdest random ass shit to the point where you can't tell if he's joking or if there's actually like, is there a deeper meaning to what you're saying? Like, and he's a master at this, and he just strings me along and keeps me going, and it's the most frustrating experience until I finally realize, or my mom reminds me, or something like, Tommy, there's nothing to stop, turn off your brain. This is not something to bother thinking about, because there's really nothing. There's nothing there. It's just it's just your dad is just messing with you, Tommy. And that being said, this movie is weird as fuck. I could see no semblance of anything at all that makes sense. I didn't like it. I liked talking about it with you guys. I think if it was on, I would like chuckle and then change the channel unless like one of you was in the room, and then I would just like berate you until until the commercial, and then change the channel. So I'm gonna ruin your fucking average here, guys. I'm giving this one a 3.
Ooh.
It's the weirdest fucking movie I've ever seen in my life, and not in a good way.
I like that.
Yeah.
That shows how
You need-
fucked up
you-
we are.
This is just like we're just like cracking the walnut that is Tommy right now, and one of these days that nut will be exposed and he'll be open to this movie.
You
And
gotta
he'll
open your
receive it.
mind's eye.
That being said, yeah. I meant to preface it this way, like saying, me, who I am at 25 years old or whatever I am, at this stage in my life, having seen this movie once, that's the rating I'm giving it. And maybe, after another several years of being friends with you guys, I'll be just as degenerate and fucking crazy as you guys are.
After you
Right
watch
now,
all of our
hey,
videos 100 more times, just watch all of our videos 100 more times, then you'll understand.
When you
I
come
will
up
say-
here, we'll get you in a Lynch, and that will sell you. You'll be like, I get
Yeah,
it
right.
now.
Oh, that was so much
No.
Get
fun.
it now.
I will say I'm more surprised by Travis and Daegan's ratings than yours for sure. Especially after just finishing our Amadeus episode and like hearing Daegan's explanation for not giving that a 10, and then him giving
This
this
is
a
my
10. I'm like,
shit.
that doesn't track, you son of a bitch.
This is my shit.
What? No,
I'm a sentimental person, and this hit me right in the heart.
what would you have? What I was interested, like before you said like yours changed like with the discussion and like with the connection to our stuff. Like what was your rating prior?
I guess for some reason this one tickled my lizard brain. So
Uh-huh.
and it's still hard for me to like even remember what my original score was coming in, because I'm still gonna want to I'm gonna want to score it low, but then an 8 sounds like it's
Right.
I don't know. It's hard to say because it's fun to watch, but then how much of that was I enjoying because of it was just I remember doing a scene like that, or I've seen them do a scene like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, obviously that's how I felt. I just don't think it's really like a thing of like it's a little different than like a movie from your childhood, but it's like, do I give like I feel like in my brain I would give The Sandlot a 10, right?
Yeah.
But also at
Yeah,
the same
exactly.
time for the
That's a
podcast,
shit
like
movie.
I don't know, like it's also weird like thinking.
No, I know what you mean, because it's like
yeah.
I gave this one a 10, but it's not in my top 10 movies of all time. I don't.
Right.
think.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
thing with
Or
like
I have
The Sandlot, maybe is
sure,
close,
right,
but
yeah, and like
Yeah,
that, if I'm
and
being more
Goonies too.
objective.
Goonies is
Yeah.
like one of my all-time like favorite movies to watch. But yeah, if you rate it from like how we look at movies or how we're supposed to, without that nostalgia in it, it's like
That's
this
how you're
movie.
supposed to lean into it.
Yeah,
It's
we
yeah.
all
If it
did.
tickles your
Tommy,
lizard
we
brain,
all did.
tickle it back.
That's the thing. There is no right or wrong way to watch movies,
Yeah.
but it's which raises the whole thing of like, why even rate movies in the first place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why, like adding subjectivity or objectivity to something subjective. I've said this before, but it is more of just like I like looking at reviews and ratings to just get a general idea, like I've said, like I've rated quite a few movies on here 8s, but it's like they're not all exactly equal to me,
Mhm.
like I could
Yeah.
like some of them a whole lot more than other 8s, but like that's the number that feels right, so
Yeah. It's
It's a feeling.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like what Moose was saying. I think I have been like, for the most part, I've been trying to be like more analytical, like almost try to get into that film
Mhm.
school boy like mindset
Yeah.
of like, like I'm fucking Robert Siskel, or is it Robert Ebert?
Gene
Whatever.
Siskel.
Siskel
Roger
and
Ebert and
Gene
John
Siskel. Yeah.
Gene Siskel.
Well, I think it's
Yeah.
really easy with this movie too. I think it'd be very
get
very easy
art
to
schooly.
get yeah.
Yeah. But like in general, I think I've tried to be like more analytical, which is weird because like my top 10 movies, like I know like a lot of them are not movies that people would consider like maybe not a lot, but like there's movies that I like. Life Aquatic. That's not a movie that like a lot of people have even seen necessarily, or people think of as like being one of the best movies of all time, but it's in my top 10.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just weird because like a lot of movies that I really like, I can acknowledge that they're not necessarily known, like they're not the best movies of all time,
Yeah.
but they are to me. So like it's weird that my personal top 10 I use like emotional
It
feedback
really
into
it really is, yeah.
but then on the
Mhm.
show I don't really do that quite as much. I
Sure.
do it a little bit, but I don't think I use it. It's not like an equal weight. Like
Mhm.
it's a little bit more skewed to like analytical side because like
I would agree
there
with
have
that,
been
yeah.
some movies where I've been like I'm not in it. I'm just not in this. Like Chungking Express is one that springs to mind where I'm just like I'm just not feeling this right
Yeah.
now. So I downgraded it a little bit for that, but for
Mhm.
the most part I've just
Sure.
tried to like be like way too like analytical.
Yeah,
So
the
I-
opposite extreme.
yeah.
I have an ex who, um, she rates movies based on how they made her feel.
Mhm.
So like any fucking like scary or sad movie, she hates it because it
Yeah.
made her scared or
Oh.
sad. She doesn't like being scared or sad. And so she really likes
Oh.
happy movies because they make her feel happy. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
not what? That's not how you rate a movie. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean,
I think
This is
feeling-
a bad movie because it made me feel bad.
Like,
Yeah,
I
what?
think like sadness is like sadness from a movie. I don't know. That's like one of my favorite feelings.
Same.
To be
that
the
you
most
can
like
get.
powerful thing.
Yeah.
The
most
Notebook.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Most of my
Yeah.
favorite movies are all like depressing
Oh yeah.
or like down endings. Those are all my favorite. That's my shit.
There was like some Instagram. I follow a bunch of like cinema Instagram accounts, and like the other day was like Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday, and it was just like a bunch of like different performances from Jake Gyllenhaal, and it was like I scrolled through them, and the one that hit me the hardest was from Brokeback Mountain, and like I've only seen that movie like once, but it's just like it's not a happy movie at all. But like, goddamn, is it so good?
Yeah.
I need to watch that movie again now that I'm not a homophobe anymore. It was weird watching that movie thinking gay people go to hell. That was a strange experience.
Oh man, when
in
that
high
movie
school.
came out,
'Cause you're-
I've never
like the
seen it.
religious groups were like so upset about it.
Yeah. Like it was
Put
the
that
first
in the
gay
pot.
movie to ever exist.
Yeah, definitely put it in
Jed,
the
that
cup.
is a really good movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've never
but that's
seen it,
'cause
and I
was-
love Jakey G.
Yeah.
It
Andy
was
Oh,
all
Fletcher.
really?
stepping stones. That's
Yeah.
all. That's what they were afraid of. The slippery slope to
Yeah.
Lil Nas
Lil Nas
X.
The
X.
globalists. It's the globalists and the gay agenda. They're going to turn the frogs gay.
Yeah, yeah.
We
Heath
told
Ledger and
you.
Jake Gyllenhaal walked so Lil Nas X could fly.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of
Fly
true.
on a pole down to hell to
Yeah.
give the devil a lap dance.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
Like,
With all the
it's-
other gays from Brokeback Mountain.
It's a joke, but it's actually like it is a little bit kind of true. Like a little bit. There's got to be some truth in that. That like it kind of
That it
paved the
all
way.
goes back to Brokeback Mountain. I
No,
mean,
It
that-
opened the
that
gay
it
doors
kind
to
of like
society.
split it. It cracked it a little bit more.
I feel like you could
Yeah,
make a
okay.
letterboxed list called movies where you see Anne Hathaway's boobs, but it's like a total bummer. And Brokeback Mountain and like Havoc would be in like the same category.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I-
You could do
That's
this.
how-
You could do the same with fuck, what's her name from Misery?
Kathy Bates?
Kathy Bates. You could do that same thing with Kathy Bates, and it would be one listing, and it would be about Schmidt.
Jesus.
Actually, that might be on villains.fandom.com.
I also wanted to mention to Moose that like you kind of groaned when I mentioned that I had like a lot of other David Lynch movies in here. I'm really curious to see what you'll think of like his other stuff because not
Yeah.
counting because he has a couple like studio movies that are like normal, more like compared relative what Nick has. What is it? What?
I think you'd really like Wild at Heart. That's all.
That's the ones that I was thinking. Like Wild at Heart.
Wild Wild at
Velvet.
Heart is the name of a super Christian book that's like advice for young men and how to tame your sexual desires.
Does he
that
wear a
I read in
snakeskin
my
jacket
Oh.
that exhibits his sense of personal freedom and responsibility? It's,
To me,
No,
it
it's all
sounds
about
Nicholas.
how like
I-
it had this like theory of like the men, like how men and women operate and like and how they're complementary to each other. Like for example, men want to go on an adventure, but women want to be taken along on an adventure or something.
Sure.
And so
Yeah.
you need to channel that desire.
So far, that kind of follows the plot of Wild at Heart, I guess.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the more his
Sorry,
more like
continue.
yeah, I was just gonna say like his more because you were like, oh, there's nothing in this one there, which with something like this, if you don't vibe with it, yeah,
Yeah.
but because there isn't
Either
any.
that or I'm
it's-
a total fucking idiot and it went
No.
over my head.
No,
There's
I-
not really anything to get.
Again, that's kind of what I was hitting at. Is like I have theories, but like my enjoyment of this movie is more just like I think it's fun to watch. Like regardless of if I
Yeah.
get anything out of it, I think it's just kind of fun to watch. But yeah, like there is really no rest from just like the weirdness, really.
Yeah.
But he has
No
stuff
reprieve.
like Blue Velvet, Wild at Heart, where there's normal stuff. It's not all weird. So you do have characters that you can learn to like, vibe with or not.
Mhm.
But then there's also this weird stuff. So I'm really interested to see how you will take those weird aspects with like characters and a story that are
Yeah.
more like linear and straightforward.
This is
yeah.
like you are the Nirvana baby in the pool of David Lynch, and we just tossed you in, dick
Oh.
out, and when you surface and start just flailing around in
You're gonna
the pool
sue
of,
us.
In 30
Yeah.
years, you're gonna.
yeah,
yeah.
to us in 30 years.
Is that real? I thought that was like a
He
the
filed a
Onion thing.
lawsuit.
Yeah, no, it's
No, it's real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Holy
trying to say
shit.
that he was like a sex worker or something like that. Like they
Yeah,
exploit.
they-
it's
horseshit.
weird.
Even though he like posed in like every magazine that wanted to interview him.
Yeah.
Like,
He
in the
has like a
past 5
Nevermind
years.
tattoo on his chest. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? That doesn't mean he was asking for it.
Maybe he shouldn't have been
guess-
dressed like that.
Yeah. After they
Oh,
took the
God.
photos, he was laughing to himself, knowing what was going to happen in 30
Yeah.
years. He's like,
Yeah.
he was wrapped up in a towel and he's going.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
How old was he at the time?
A few months.
An
like,
infant.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
he
don't
was
know.
an infant. Yeah.
Guys, that reminds me. I have a book. You know those like copy table books that's just like a bunch of pictures? I have one that's called Underwater Babies, and it's literally just pictures of babies underwater.
Hmm.
I got it for $1
Nice.
Okay.
at a used bookstore, and it's something that I own now, and that's all. I just wanted to say that.
You should erase this part of the podcast and burn the book. Please
Yeah.
burn the
1
book.
second.
Oh man, I was gonna.
No,
Oh, he's going to grab
no, do not get it.
it. Oh, he's
If
going
it's
to grab
like- If it's like Nevermind with like full on dick, baby dick,
it.
tiny rusty baby dick, like I don't
Oh,
wanna,
yeah, there's a
I don't wanna
callback.
go there.
Oh, boy.
When he's back, we'll pull.
Yeah, I was
'cause
gonna
we're-
say Rambo
we're,
3 at some point. Are we on the dud?
Right.
Are we on
couldn't
Splutter
find
We
it.
Dud?
are on the dud. Which,
Oh,
like
oh,
Travis
man.
said, if
Wait,
we did do
I-
Rainbow
Dang
3
it.
this
You couldn't
week,
find it? Shoot.
I have one more
I-
thing. I'm gonna make it short though.
Go for it.
When we watch it, because I put the man in the ice cream suit or the wonderful ice cream suit in the pot, and I used to watch that all the time as a kid. And after talking about this now, it's gonna be the opposite. I'm gonna be Moose, and you guys are gonna be opposite that when we watch that movie, because I'm gonna give it like a 9 or a 10, and you guys are gonna give that like a 2 probably.
no, so you're gonna be us, and we're gonna be Moose. Is what you
That's I kind
Yeah,
of said
that-
that in reverse.
meant. Yeah. Okay.
Did you just like put Catwoman in there and we're gonna pull it? And
Oh
when we
no,
pull
I
it-
figured. Do we want to do it like
You
that?
get to see
like,
Anne Hathaway's boobs in Catwoman.
No,
But
she,
they're
Yeah.
happy.
it's
They're
the
not sad.
OG.
They're
Chloe is calling
Halle
the police
Berry
on
one.
all of us.
Well, no, I just figured if she wants to do that, we can just do that when she wants. I guess we can maybe plan for what we could do that instead of this,
I guess I was just wondering. I don't think she really cares. I think her passion for it was like stronger because she had just watched it. But
I really like
Are we
the
talking
idea of
about?
doing Catwoman. Kelly wants to guest and have us watch Catwoman.
she wants to be the I guess devil's advocate for
Oh,
For
okay,
what?
okay.
Catwoman.
We could do that. Like, we could be like, okay, next week we're gonna have a guest, and it's either gonna be Kelly or Hollywood.
Yeah, that makes
We
sense.
wanna
I'm
do
into
that?
that.
Okay,
Yeah, let's do that.
then
What did
this
you pull though?
this really hurts that I have to
What-
put this one back,
What did you pull?
because this would
though?
be another 10 out of 10 for similar reasons, at least for me
Is
and
it Kung
Travis.
Pao? Kung Pao?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Another movie we have a personal connection to because we're in it.
And it's a dud.
Yeah,
Is
Wait,
it the-
we're in it.
What is it?
Oh, it's
Avengers?
Avenger.
as extras at a football game.
Oh shit!
oh shit!
Oh.
Touchback.
With
It's
Kurt
called
Russell
Touchback.
Crowe.
Yeah, that one hurts to put back, but
Are we doing
to
Catwoman
touch
then?
back. Yeah, so let's do that. Okay, so
Is
next week,
Catwoman, is that coming in as a dud?
Yeah.
Or spud? Okay.
yeah.
Horse Bud.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I don't think we did that when we did Suicide Squad. Or no, we did. Yeah, we did for
That was when
Suicide
it was
Squad, the Dud
created,
Bud.
right?
Yeah, we got to remember to do that. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So for next week, we're gonna have a guest on, and it's either going to be Travis's wife Kelly, and we're gonna watch Catwoman with Halle Berry. I didn't look up the shit.
Directed by Halle
or-
Berry, with Halle Berry, produced by Halle Berry.
Or we're going to have Nabwana IGG and Alan Hoffmanis from Hollywood. We're gonna watch Rambo 3. So I don't know. Watch one of those movies.
Yeah.
Follow our socials on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we'll try to post there when we know for sure which one we're doing.
I'm putting him in the episode descriptions now, so you should be able to get to
Oh,
those
yeah.
from there
when the
as well.
pod, yeah, when
yeah,
the
when the audio
podcast is
version
out,
drops.
it'll be definitive, obviously. But yeah, that's next week, and then after that is after that is October. That's a spooky month, so we can get into some spooky movies or
Spooky
whatever.
shit.
Hell yeah.
I guess
Oh,
Catwoman
yeah.
is a good way to kind of transition into
It is.
spooky
Yeah,
movies.
it is.
Eraserhead to Catwoman is like a very good transitional, like
Yeah.
autumnal,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Tonally, theme
tone
wise.
theme.
Yeah. They make just about as much sense as one another.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So all that
Both very horny.
out of the way.
Mhm.
I am your
Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah, here we go.
I am
was thinking about this.
your local
shit.
plumber with fucked up knees. Look at them, please. Look at my knees. J Spot Jack Cheese, aka TJ, and with me as always.
I am your cigarette smoking, salad tossing grandma, Nick,
good one.
aka Dr. Funk on Twitch.
Shit. I am your villains.fandom.com Henry's baby Travis, aka the Super General.
And I'm your creepy sperm monster that comes out of your mouth at the beginning of the movie, and then also gets stomped on by a lady with absurdly large cheeks while she sings a song that actually kind of slaps.
Hell yeah.
Moose.
Hell yeah, it does.
Tommy.
And to finish it up, I am your giant shingles-ridden sperm baby that laughs when you try to sleep.
Sweet. I'm glad we could
Nice.
all agree that the song fucking slaps.
It's so good.
All right. See everyone next time. Next
Later,
week.
skaters.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.